Yeah, it's April 25th. It's a Friday. Means time for a live show. Let's get it rolling. Come on. Ah, open the bottle of water first, and we'll pour this in. You know, it's the last Friday for the show for the month of April. So that means we've done 4 months this year so far. Uh, the January, February, March, April. The next time, God willing, that we meet, it will be April, May. It'll be in May. So in May, we have Mother's Day. We have uh, it's Sly's birthday in May. And I don't know what else is going on in May, but I guess you guys will uh, enlighten me as to what's going on in May. This thing doesn't seem to be fitting very nicely. Hello? They're earbuds. Yeah, the chat's open. Links in the description down below. I if that means people can come by and say hi, and you're subject to hearing them coming by and saying hi. The only thing I got to be careful is we don't get into doing uh, technical support on the live channel because we're not really prepared. You know, that type of a thing. So now we're on the Sony. I think I got everything turned on. I'm not sure I turned the one up above on. There we go. Okay, let's see who's here tonight. This is what I wait for all week long. This is what I look forward to all week long. Randy's here, Mr. Frappe Mocha. If it wasn't for Randy, I wouldn't be paying attention to what a Frappe Mocha is. And then at that time, when one came across my opportunities, it's got a little thing so I can tighten this up a little bit. Oh, look, I look nice. I got a haircut. I got them all cut, as the joke would go, but it's just been hours. So I guess I have to determine if do I like my haircut? A don't I? Do I or don't I? So Randy's here. And how you doing in Texas, Randy? And I did have my smoothie today, and I had one teaspoon of Folgers instant coffee and 2 teaspoons of a chocolate powder. I forgot which one. I bought 6 different chocolate powders because I got to find out which one is the best. And believe it or not, one of them has risen to the top to be considerably better. And the one in the number 2 position is actually surprising. It's the Nestle's cocoa powder. Nestle's brand. I didn't even know Nestle's made a cocoa powder. Sure, I know they make Nestle's quick chocolate and all that, and whatever other chocolate things they've got. And you know, but I didn't know they. Anyway, I saw it at Publix. I bought it, and it's in the number 2 position. Number 1 position is a no name. Well, it's not really no name. I think it's called Anthony's cocoa powder. And it makes it from being like, wow, this is so good, to the other ones like, it's a chocolate, it's almost like chocolate milk. So anyway, Scotty is here. He's complaining about Patreon. Yeah, it has been quiet. That's Peter's fault. You'll have to get in touch with him and get on his case about that. And he's laughing. YOLO. Oh no, that means you only live once. Almost missed it. Pew, right over the head. So cameras, we had a flurry of cameras. and then it got quiet, but it never gets quiet at Randy's house. Randall Brander. This is Randall Brander. So if you want to see the latest in cameras, then you need to go over to his channel, and it's in red. And also subscribe and sign up. Scotty, you don't have a channel, do you? Are you home, Scotty, or are you leaving to go out to go play? Because Scotty plays in a live band, and I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I do know he does piano, but I don't know if he does anything else. So I don't know. I like the big fluffy hair on the top. It's just more me. But that's because I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and men had bigger hair. Now it's like they have almost no hair. It's contrary to what I'm doing. Mark is here. How's it going, Peter? I did my first live stream. Woo! 2 hours ago. You should have texted me so I can come in and support you and just be there unless you were really shy. That is another way of starting live streams. Just doing them and don't tell anybody. Then you're there by yourself and you don't have to worry about anything because it's just almost an empty room. Then when you get used to being live, because there is an adrenaline rush when you first start going live. I remember the first time I went live, I got knocked off the air. And I don't even know. I think my camera, which was the Sony A7 Mark III back then, and the camera turned off and it knocked Ecamm off at the same time. Me know to this day not what I am doing or what happened at that time. So Scotty says, I am home. I have gigs on Monday, which is a senior dinner dance. Then Friday, which would be next Friday, for a Salvation Army ballroom type dance. Well, that's pretty cool. And another Mr. Nikon, because Randy's very heavy into Nikon, Norm is here. Hi, Norm. How you doing? Merry Christmas. Good evenings. Nice haircut. Thank you for noticing. Do you like it? It's okay. It's not one of my best haircuts, but you know what they say? The difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and it starts to grow back in. So what I do is, in case you didn't know, I cut my own hair. But this has been since the end of the 80s and into the beginning of the 90s. So let's just say from the 90s, I cut my own hair. I don't do the $25 or $50 every time to go to one of these guys that go a little bit here and a little bit there. We cut on the top. We take the scissors and we do little baby trims. We pull the hair all the way out to here. Then we take the scissors and go snip, snip, snip. Now, I'm not making fun of hairdressers. Most of us cannot cut our own hair. But after doing it for 20 and 20, 40, 45 years, I've gotten the hang of it, so I can actually make a comment on my own hair. I don't comment on other people's hairs, just my own. Mark, there's a link in the description if you want to come on live. Set yourself up, comb your hair, wash behind your ears, and tell us how the new channel is doing and how the live stream. So Mark says he was working out the kinks, which is cool. See, that's the way to do it. I was using OBS. I had some people watching, so they got to see some of my mess ups. It's funny, right? When I first started messing up, I could feel cold water running through my veins. It just kind of got me frozen. And then little by little, the more accidents and oopses and screw ups that happen, like right now, I have my phone in my pocket It used to freak me out when I got a text or a phone call during the live show, like right now. Now it doesn't bother me. I'll look and see who it is. I'll make a joke like, oh, Trump is calling me again. Or Biden is calling. The president is calling, whoever the president at the time. And I'll make a laughing matter out of it and move on. But there was a time when that would really shake me up. So, did you figure out the solution to all the problems? I'm just getting a little water because I feel a little thirsty. Norm says, I could wait 2 years for my hair to grow back. Not much chance that's going to happen. But look at it this way. You know, there's a Yeshua, and for me, his name is Jesus. And those that are in Yeshua go to heaven. And all that has got nothing to do with my next sentence. In heaven, we have a full head of hair. So make sure you make it there. Figure out how and what it will take for you to get to heaven, Norm, so that this way you will have that big, full head of hair again. And people will go like, wow, Norm, you look so different up here. And, you know, it's just making some funny jokes, but, you know. I do want you with me in heaven, but I'm not going to cross swords over religious stuff. So Scotty says, Nancy Pelosi is on line 1. Nancy? Nancy, is that you? You're going to jail, girl. You're going to jail, and a bunch of others, too. Yeah, I know you're getting old, but it's like that you've done things that were not nice for families like mine and that have kids and grandkids. And I just, whatever. Why don't you call me when I'm not live, Nancy? Nancy, pay attention. Hey, Nancy, you keep quiet. I'm talking. Okay? Nancy, you keep quiet. I'm talking now. Okay? It's my show. When you get your hands on a microphone, then you can do all the talking you want, Nancy. In the meantime, be quiet. All right? So I want you to go home, stay home, take a nice bath, relax, chill out. Whenever you see a camera coming towards you, run. Run the other way. Okay? Don't get in front of that camera, Nancy. Okay? Okay. Say hi to your husband. Is he still running? You could tell him he could stop running now. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you, Scotty. I didn't know Nancy was on line 1. So Scotty's handling my phone calls. Scott, what are you saying? We don't need hair in heaven. Excuse me. What do you mean we don't need hair in heaven? Hello? You're telling me that? I don't need hair in heaven. I ain't gonna be bald in heaven. Okay? And neither is Norm. Norm is gonna be handsome with a head full of hair. Okay? And he's gonna love it. Okay, so let's see if I can get. We already have a chatter. Chatter. Somewhere in here.
Chatter.
Oh, he's making fun of me. Okay, let's add him to the right. There he is. Oh, it's snowing. Oh my God.
It's cold.
How
It's
cold
cold
is
out
it?
here.
How cold is it? Seriously, or are you
So
joking?
no, it is cold here in SoCal. It's weird. It's actually like in the 50s, and this is weird for April, end of April. This is bizarre, right?
You're not kidding.
Yeah. Hey, I needed to jump on today because I'm relaxing outside. I'm having a cigar. That's why I'm outside. I'm having a
How
cigar.
come you got sunlight? Oh, that's right. You're in California.
Exactly. So I am enjoying, my yummy cigar right now. Hey, I wanted to jump on because
To tell
I
me that you
wanted to
can't come on tonight?
no, because I wanted to share something with you that I think some of your uh, subscribers might understand. The fam may understand and think about, because it has to do with with our channels. And by the way, I'm using the Ozbot Tiny 2 on my iPad right now, and the
I would
iPad
have
microphone.
never guessed that, Carlos.
Is that crazy?
Do I need to give you an
Like,
introduction, or are we doing all right?
I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say is this: we were talking a little bit, last week about our channels, and some of us, are wrestling a little bit, I think, with our YouTube presence, our YouTube channels. And I wanted to come on tonight and say I'm struggling with my channel.
Are you?
Yeah, and this is the thing I've realized is quick start, strong start. Somehow, Peter, a couple of my videos got in the algorithm and really had fun.
They
But
shot up, right? You went
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
0 to 600.
yeah. But all and got all my hours, all that stuff is great. But things are now coming down to earth, is what it seems.
It slowed
And
down.
absolutely. And so I'm starting to feel that thing again. But you know what I've realized today, and I just wanted to bring this up because what I'm realizing today is practicing what I'm preaching, and that is, I think the motivation to keep going has to do with just my joy of it. Just I
Yeah.
want to. It feels good to keep creating. That's it. I just want to keep creating,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm
Now
feeling like
that's a
that
big thing.
motivation.
I
Yeah,
don't know which camera I'm on, but what you're talking about
yeah,
is a really
yeah.
big thing because let me see how many people we got in here. Have you ever heard of Padron cigars?
Wow, I almost pulled one out. This
So
isn't. I
you
almost
do
pulled out
know.
my Padron.
Okay, so
I
I'm
love
not into
Padrons.
cigars, but you know
Yeah,
who Marlon is, right?
yeah,
Okay, he's into cigars and he's in love with this Padron cigar and I'm going
yeah.
like I never heard of that. So I looked
Padrons
it up.
are good. Yeah,
Okay,
not bad.
is there something going on with my earbuds or is the volume going up and down? Somebody
I
out there
don't
tell
know.
us. Okay,
Yeah,
Norm,
yeah,
somebody that can, or Scotty that can listen.
yep, yep.
Uh, I don't know if there's something happening. I didn't mean
Okay.
to derail what you're talking about.
But
And
yes, I just want to confirm. Yes, Padrones are one of my favorites too. They're one of my
okay,
favorites
so
too.
I looked that up. Do you know what caught my attention? Being
Huh.
Peter, of all things, they have a chocolate flavor. There's a chocolate tobacco rolled in with
Right.
them, and I'm going like,
Yeah.
damn! If I ever got into cigars, which I won't because it's not going to happen.
Nah.
Beards and cigars are your things. I will do chocolate smoothies, which I have perfected mine to get better and better. Do you do smoothies anymore, or you just
No, not. It just. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy. I gotta do it though. I gotta get on it.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim says the volume is good. All right. So it must be here
Good.
at my end. All
Okay.
right. So, um, are you doing
Struggling.
any carnivore?
Yes, that's all I'm doing, Peter. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
discovered. You notice I'm just all over the place right now.
I
I
know. I
I
know.
discovered I
Yeah.
need to tenderize the meat
Okay.
because when I was maybe in the 70s or the 80s, the years, not my age, uh, I had throat surgery. So a stringy meat or things that have connectivity issues with their tissue gives me a
Mm,
problem. So
okay.
I have been struggling so hard to solve that, and I did,
Mm,
but it takes a long time, and that is
okay.
the night before. So like last night, I would have put a steak into my sous vide machine. Uh,
Okay.
take it or leave it if you guys don't know what that is. But it takes 24 hours. It's an overnight thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So while I was flipping through my channels, not through the channels, when they recommend things, I saw something how to take a cheap piece of meat and make it as
Mm,
good as a filet mignon or a ribeye steak. And I'm going like, okay, you got my attention. Let's see what you're going to do with it now because most people, I don't know what's happened to YouTube, but they
mm,
give you a caption and never fulfill their promise of that caption. And it's just over
mm.
and over and over. I would say eight
Right.
out of 10 videos are like that now. Like
Mm,
such a Trump just broke the internet. or so and
Yeah.
so just blew that out of the water,
Right. Right.
and then you
Right.
go to
Right.
watch it and nothing
Yeah.
pertaining to the title or the thumb, and that's getting me
Yeah.
annoyed. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Annoying.
this thing was basically on how to tenderize it, and they came out and they did an effort. They came out with 8 different ways to tenderize eye round steak. Eye round steak is
Mm.
about one of the toughest steaks you can find. It's got
Okay.
so much tissue and there's no fat. It's like
Right.
chewing meat flavored gum. Okay. You just chew and chew and chew, you know?
Right.
So I tried some of their methods, and the ones that they claim, the ones with plural, that they claim were the worst wound up being better for me. There's this thing that you buy that you stab the meat with all these little blades. It's
Hmm.
called a jacquard,
Okay.
Jaccard.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, that worked, where the guy gave it like on a scale of 1 to 10, a 5, and what he gave
Okay.
as a 10, nothing, honey, just like the cereal,
Mm.
you know. So
Right. Right.
now I got these
Yep.
3 eye round steaks in there that are all tough. So I
Okay.
did do the sous vide. That works. But the
Nice.
regular
Nice.
overnight doesn't work. You got to put it in.
Okay.
My next target is 40 hours. So I'll put it in the
Okay.
afternoon for tomorrow night.
Hmm.
Because
Nice.
it's 1/3 the
Do it.
price of these other pieces of meat, which gets
Right.
expensive,
Right.
you know.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, all the way back to your opening
Yeah.
sentence. Okay, see
Yep.
how un I have lost. You were on Tuesday with Sly, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, I don't have passion for YouTube or even cameras anymore,
Hmm.
and even Scotty earlier said to your Patreon that is very quiet.
I know.
I just
Yeah.
don't feel like making anything now. Randy can't stop. He can't stop. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
might make 4 or 5 videos in a day,
I
you
know.
know,
He's just, yeah, pumping them out, man. Pumping them
you
out.
know. And what was your sentence about a half hour ago about the joy
Well,
of
I'm, yeah, the joy. I'm, first of all, I'm feeling less motivated, and I was waiting for this. The less motivated is when things slow down. And when you start looking at your last 28 days of subscribers and that starts shrinking, I go back to a couple of videos that I made about, you know, how to press through that, because I've done this in other ways with other things before
oh, you did make a video
where,
on that? Okay.
oh, a couple of them. Yeah. And the thing is I'm going back to what I know versus what I feel. And what I feel is, I feel some anxiousness and some, what's going on. I feel some of that, but I know that I enjoy what I'm pumping out. I enjoy what I'm creating. I enjoy my creativity. Like, this is my creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to keep focused on that and not fall into the dependency on the bumps and the big subscriber, months. I know that's a part of our psychology, right? For sure. It,
Mm-hmm.
it does. It is a motivator. It is, but it can't be the motivator. It just can't be, because if my motivation is solely on my subscriber count and how well my channel is doing, then I will completely suffocate my creativity. It'll stop being fun. I don't want it to stop being fun. Right. So what I'm pressing into right now is, what am I, how am I growing, and what am I learning as I'm creating? And I am learning things as I create. I'm getting more into the groove and learning more about things that I can process and talk about and share, and even
Well, this is
stories that I'm
not fair,
reconnecting with. It's really
but
good.
what have you learned that excited you lately? I know it's not a fair question, but
No, it is totally.
anything pop to your mind that's not too hard to remember?
Yeah, I think probably I can go on a bunch of things, right? I think one of the things I can say is, um, I'm learning more about my dependency, like I just said. I'm learning how much a part of me is seeking to depend on external factors to find my joy, and I'm learning that about myself. Like I knew that already, but man, it's really hitting home right now how much part of me wants to depend on external motivators, meaning subscribers, things like that. And here's what I'm learning. Even this morning, kind of struggling a little bit with that, seeing things slow down. And then I get this awesome comment. And what I'm realizing, though, is these comments, these deep and meaningful personal comments that I'm getting on my videos, that is where I get a lot more of the energy. It's in just a comment, because it's I'm realizing, wow, there's part of me wants to find the motivation and depend on the subscribers, but a bigger part of me just wants to connect,
Yeah.
wants to connect.
Connecting is very important. Actually,
Yes.
it's critical. I was going to say it's higher than very important. It's
I
critical.
agree, Peter. I
It's
agree.
actually after you've gone through all the cycles that a YouTuber will go through.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
they'll come up with stuff like I've had burnout or this or that, and
Right. Right.
it really isn't any of that.
Yeah.
What it comes down to
Hey,
is the he's got a dog,
Mom.
guys. It's a nice dog. Don't worry about it. Uh, is the interaction that you can have with your base.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I haven't made a video
Keep
since
talking.
Christmas.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. I haven't made a video since Christmas. Okay, and I could put me large. Okay. I don't know how to
Right.
mute. I don't know how to mute him, but I can make me large.
Yeah.
and
I just,
and
I just put her inside. I just put her inside. So
oh no,
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get up and I replugged in and now I can hear fine. Okay, so it was my
Good.
plug at the computer, which is on the other side of this desk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the interacting uh, that it comes down to. If you, I guess you can become like somebody that's got 5 million subscribers, where you don't interact at all anymore, and it's all
Right.
within your immediate group. At that
Yeah.
kind of numbers, I'm assuming you have
Right.
people that help you. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
so all
Mm-hmm.
your connection is internal. Okay,
Yep.
or the ones like you and me and Mr. Camera Junkie and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
the connection that we have with the audience. And you notice I haven't made a video since Christmas, but as many times as I've decided I wasn't going to go on with the Friday show, it's the one thing I look forward to. And what's
Yeah.
different about it?
Yeah.
What's different? What the thing
Right.
that's different is I interconnect, and now I've started doing this where I've invited people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I don't need to hog the show. Okay,
Yep.
people can come on. I like to joke. That's
Mm-hmm.
my personality. I mean, Tuesday night I was like, I needed to stop myself. I couldn't stop joking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Getting sly aggravated.
Yep. Maybe you
And then
can. Maybe you can
you're the
get.
serious one. So I let you go
Yep.
on and on when I need to shut up. So where's your cigar?
Oh, it's over here. Maybe you can get. Hey, maybe Lewis can come on here as well and talk about this, because I
Yeah,
wonder if he can
Lewis has been
relate.
on. I see him on
I
now.
want.
There,
Yep.
Mr. Camera
Yep.
Junkie.
Oh, good.
Lewis, we're
Okay.
talking about, I guess the best terminology that sums it up is burnout, but it's not really burnout. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and how we
The ups and
handling it.
downs. Yeah, we're talking about the ups and downs of being a YouTuber. And Lewis, I was just sharing with, if you come on, man, that might be pretty cool. But I was sharing with Peter, like, how I'm starting to experience that also right now, and
Yeah.
not burnout, but this, as things slow down, that stuff starts creeping up in our head. It's the fear and anxiety starts creeping up, and and then the natural thing that happens with our psychology is when we're not getting that boost, we start to lose motivation. The boost meaning the subscribers,
What do
and
they call that
so
boost when it's like from chocolate?
I mean
What's
it's
the
a
right?
it's a dopamine hit. It's a dopamine
Dopamine.
hit. It really
Okay,
is.
I couldn't
Yeah.
think of the
Yeah.
word. Can I just
Hmm.
say something real quick? Where Shane just made a comment. Okay, so that means
Ah.
he's around. Shane, the
Yep.
link is in the description, buddy. And I've kind of opened up the show to make it more interesting to other
Yeah.
people,
Yep.
Shane. And you could pop in when you get ready. There's no rush. It is a 1 hour show, so it's 10 to 11, even though I go till 12, 1 o'clock sometimes. Okay. And sometimes it
Yep.
is only till 11. But Shane, you're welcome.
Hmm.
The link is in the description below. Jim Out Loud,
Yep.
Mr.
Yep.
Camera Junkie. I've been putting the link in the description uh, every week now. Okay. And I've
Hmm.
even been putting the date next to it so that people know it's current, you know.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and you don't have to stay long. You don't have to feel like it's okay, I have to go hang out, you
Hmm.
know. You can come in,
Yeah.
say hello,
Yeah.
and go, okay? Or
Hmm.
say what you got going on. I've been pushing Mark with MDM.
Hmm.
He just did a live show. Okay, it's first.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
for him to come on. So
Hmm.
it, it's uh, it's not dangerous because I'm in control. I could see who's there, and if I don't want to put a person on, they're just going to
Hmm.
stay in the green room. As mean as it sounds, okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
But there's some people that I wouldn't put on now because of some problems that we've had,
Hmm.
and but people like everybody that you see here tonight, no problem. So
Yep.
you're
Yep.
welcome to come on, Shane. Now let's get back to what you were saying.
Yeah. And Lewis might get a kick out of this too, because I mean, I think he has one of these. But Lewis, I'm on the Osbot Tiny 2 right now on my iPad. And what's
Outside.
interesting is, yeah, outside. And I'm using my iPad mic, so this is as bare bones as I can go. But you know what's interesting about this? Google Meet. Okay, sometimes,
I've heard of it.
yeah. So that does not recognize my Osbot. Google Meet does not recognize my Osbot. But you know what's weird? This Ecamm, on ramp software recognizes the Osbot through Google. No, no, through Safari, but not through Google. Isn't that interesting? So I'm really I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think it was going to recognize my Osbot. So if anybody wants to know if you can get on Ecamm and be a guest through your Osbot, it works. It just doesn't work through Safari. It doesn't work through Google though. It works through Safari, which is
About
it's better on
when
your
you say
desktop
Google,
though,
are
through
you
Google.
talking about Chrome?
I'm talking about Chrome. Sorry, yeah, I'm talking about Chrome.
Oh, okay.
So so that's interesting. I would have thought it was the other way around. I thought it was going to be the other way around.
That's what I would think
So
too.
yep, yep. So anyway, what we are talking about, um, YouTube, being a YouTuber, and you're struggling some of that with that, Peter. Right now, you were sharing. It's been a while since you've posted. You've
I
lost a
haven't
lot
made
of
that
that.
public, but we're among
Yeah,
friends. Basically,
yeah,
almost
yeah,
everyone here tonight I can get on the phone and talk to.
yeah,
So it's not
yeah. And I
like
think
I'm embarrassing myself, all right? It's
no,
people that
no, you're
I
not.
trust.
And that's why
Uh,
I'm sharing it too, Peter, because I'm feeling the same thing.
all
Um,
right, so let's put what
yeah.
we're talking about on hold because it looks like a possibility that Mr. Camera Junkie is going to join in a little bit.
Oh, I hope
uh,
so. Good.
and maybe Shane from Australia is going to join in a little bit.
Good. We can all
Y-
talk about this.
yeah, we can all talk about it together.
Yeah.
But as much as we've been talking on a downer type feelings,
Hmm.
something got me very excited this week. Okay,
Okay.
in the photography, and I like to share that now first, and then go back to the people that come on
Sure.
because that's who we should
Yeah.
concentrate when a person's on. That isn't the time to go off into the wild blue yonder and show something else.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm with you.
All right. So let me show you what got me excited. It
Okay.
might take a little doing to get there. I'm going to go to the desktop.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to open up my Chrome. Okay. So uh, this is Mark with MDM. His thing is called the Sports Corner. So he streamed something 8 minutes ago. Mark, you need to come on here too, okay? Don't be
Mark.
scared. We make so many mistakes, it's ridiculous, okay? So don't worry. But
Nice.
let's keep Peter on track for a second, okay?
All right.
Let's
All
go
right.
to the
Stay on track.
subscriptions. Okay,
Lewis is
I
setting up.
found this
All right.
guy, and I actually need your help too, you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. I want to go here to this guy. Okay. Oh my God.
Oh, I love this dude.
Okay, so what I want to do is go to his website. All right. Now, what got me excited was not that one, okay, but he's in Czechoslovakia, and I want you guys to eventually go there. Okay, let me tell you where his channel is. It's Printographer 1. Printographer 1. Okay? And you don't do it right now, okay? But like Randy and Scott, and you guys that are really good in research, okay? Now, I will play one of the things, and what he specializes in is the Czechoslovakian police. He will take a picture, okay? And then he will print it out and hand it to the cop. And there's always this amazing smile on their face. Look at this cop, this mean guy. Okay, look at his smile. I mean, you have touched him. You have actually touched a human being. And he does that over and over. And let's see, the very first one I saw, he was let's see if I can find it. Okay, this is another one. This guy, I mean, he's formidable looking. Watch the smile when he gets the print. So he takes a picture, then he prints it out on some little goofachi. Then he gives the guy the picture, and look at that. Look at how you just brighten someone's day. Now that got me excited. That is a combination of street photography and printing all in one shot, okay? And I want to know how he does that, okay? And I'm going to tap on you guys that are smarter than me, because he will do that over and over. And I'm trying to find the very first one I saw. It was like how amazing it was. If you can mute yourself, Carlos, I'm hearing you calling the dog in or somebody. And I'm just scrolling through, and it's not like he just did this. Okay, this guy right here. This was the first one I saw. So this guy, cop, is sitting in his car. He raises the camera. He takes a picture. He prints it out. He walks over to the car, and look at this cop. This cop that's ready to arrest you and frisk you and throw you in jail. Look at the response. This is what the joy of photography for me is. Okay, and that's the picture that he took. So where does he go to print this out? And these are all Czechoslovakian police people. Okay, except for that one homeless guy. Okay, and he'll just go right up. They'll be doing their work. I don't know what camera he's using. He's got to be using an f1.4 or f1.2 lens. Look at the background blur in that. And look at her response. Oh my God, look at that. All of a sudden, this mean cop is so sweet and friendly. And this is not only for the girls, but for the guys. And that was the picture that he took. So right there on the spot, he's able to take the shot. I'm guessing he crops it or whatever procedure he uses. He prints it out, and then he walks over to the person and hands them the print. That's a complete circle of photography right there. Shooting it, printing it, delivering it. Now that got me excited. Okay, now let me get back to my show. I do have a show going on. So this guy's name, okay. Oh, and he does the guard at the castle. Okay, whatever type of a castle they got. So he's got lots of pictures in here of guards. But all these serious people just melt right before your eyes. And it's like, that's what I like. I like to see humanity. I want to see this guy smile. All right. That looks like a mean son of a. Oh, he can't smile. He can't smile. He's in the guardhouse. So he gets the picture. He prints it out. See, he's got a little machine there. And then he's going to show it to the guard. The guard is closing his eyes like he wants to break, okay, but he doesn't. And then he slides it into his pocket. This is really, really, really touching human beings. And that is the story I wanted to present to you guys, okay, on this. So let's get back to the show because I heard the jingles. That means there's some people in here. Mr. Camera Junkie's here. Let's close. Let me close this. Where is my Chrome? There. Oh, there it is. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum. Minimize the window. Okay, let's get back to a camera. And where's the camera I want to use? Here we go. Now we got Peter. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, we got Mr. Camera Junkie is coming. And put him to the right. And there we go. There he is. And now we can continue with our conversation. Now I got what I got excited about this week out, okay? And I could see me going out with a camera, shooting a picture of Lewis or anybody, printing it out, and just having that smile burst on their face. That connects with me. Now, with other people, it might not do anything for you, you know, but for me, I like it. You know, of course, I'll probably get punched the first time I do it. All right, but I like it.
Not you, so, not you, Peter. You've got the respect, man. You look like a guy who just, you know, people would love for you to do that. I think you would be inviting, right, Lewis? I think he'd be inviting. I think that would be. I think
a portable photo printer. Is that what you're saying, Lewis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what this guy has. That's why he's called the printographer.
Right.
I think Fuji Stacks is one that is available for us right over here, which is a on-site portable printer. But that's just the way technology has gone, where we've kind of left Kodaks or not Kodak.
Is Aiden okay?
Man, I'm running a blank. No, Aiden's fine. I was trying to remember the.
I hear the dog barking, and I saw you turning, and I know. Oh, he doesn't have a dog, so it must be Aiden. Are you in the new place, Lewis? Or are you still in the?
Oh no! I'm packing. I'm packing right now. As you can see, I'm just unloading everything. Okay. But no. So as far as instant photos, we had Polaroids. That's what I was trying to remember.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Instead of Polaroids, we moved into the Instax with Fuji, which is kind of more like a laser printer, so to speak, kind of like a laser receipt, into being able to print things off. So something that would be similar is kind of like these new digital label makers. Right? So they work off Bluetooth and things like that. And depending on the software that uses, what I would guess, it's either directly from the camera to the printer, or he's using the software that comes with the camera to offload via Wi-Fi, and then Bluetooth the images from the phone to the printer to get them done on the site.
Mm-hmm. All right. So just to recap, I don't want the show to go over to this. I want to talk about what we go through when we get. I'm using the term burned out, even though burnt out might not be the right term. But Carlos, you keep us on track. What is your setup right now? And then Lewis, I'm going to ask you the same question. So what is your live stream right now that you're on with me? What you got running? What's rolling over there?
Who, me?
Yeah, me? Carlos. The other Carlos.
I'm realizing right now I got to turn out my warm lights that are above me. That's why I'm looking kind of like Orange Man. But what I have is...
You want me to reduce it and just leave it?
If you want to a little bit, if you want to tweak it, feel free to make me look
Okay. I mean,
better,
I could do
Peter. Feel
that, but
free.
if you're planning on doing it, I don't want to interfere.
No, I'm gonna leave them on. I like them. I'll just leave them on. But I do have my portable LED up here with the, you know, it's a Godox that I use for photography, you know. But I put all the diffusion on it with the, you know, the egg carton, all that stuff, whatever it's called. I have that on there. So
Egg crates.
and it's just egg crate, and it's connected to you know, a table clamp, right? A clamp on my table, so it's way up here. So I got a little bit of light on me here outside. So I look, and then Lewis, I'm just using my iPad, and it's recognizing my Tiny 2.
Yeah.
And what's weird is when I tried this, I went in through with Peter's link to go into Ecamm. I went into Chrome because that's what I usually use on my desktop. But Chrome would not recognize my Ozbot. And then what I saw when I tried it again, you know what it actually said? When I was in Chrome, it said that it works better in Safari. And I thought that's weird because on my desktop it works better on Chrome. So I went into Safari and surprise, Ecamm, you know, through my iPad, through Safari actually recognizes the Ozbot, which is really cool. And I'm
But you're
powering it
connecting the
up
Ozbot directly?
directly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really nice, man. I love it. You know, like this is such an easy setup, you know, on the go, just kind of like this. And I'm using the iPad mic. So, you know, I don't have anything external. So that's kind of cool. But that's what I'm on. Yeah, it's kind of, look at this, man. It's kind of rainy back here, you guys. It's weird right now. End of April, like 55 degrees. It's not normal.
No.
But I'm not complaining. The heat's coming. It's right around the corner. It's coming, man. We'll be back to a desert again pretty soon. A very hot desert. So, anyway.
And Lewis, you're running out of your studio, correct? Or wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on a Mac Studio. I'm using an A7R2 as my main camera. I'm going in through Ecamm, but I'm using Ecamm's virtual camera. So that's the whole thing. Like, if you're using the virtual camera, it should work through Chrome, and then you can use any camera that's connected to Ecamm. So,
Right.
Correct.
For instance, like right now, I should be able to connect my Ozbot. Not connected, but connecting it right now.
Carlos, you know what the virtual camera is?
Yeah, I do. The thing is, you can't do any of that with on your iOS, though. You can't do any of that on your iOS. You don't have Ecamm on your iOS, right? You have the Ecamm link
on your iOS.
Right? Yeah, but on iOS you don't have Ecamm, so you can't do anything.
He's on an iPad.
I'm on my iPad, Lewis.
Oh,
yeah. Because I would do that if I was
on your iPad.
Yes.
Yes, I am on my machine. See? That's totally different. Okay,
that's
so you're
why
saying on your iPad, it's not coming in through Chrome and it's being connected. Well, that would just make sense because you see that's iOS versus Mac OS. So I stand corrected. I was hearing Mac OS and I'm like, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying like it should be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I was on my laptop right now, I'd be going in through Ecamm.
Yeah.
And I would look wonderful. I would look like you, Lewis, right now. I would look wonderful.
Well, over here, everybody looks good.
Great.
Yeah. That's why I wanted you guys to say what you were using, because we have what I'm doing with a studio setup. We've got Carlos is running from an iPad, from a tablet, and then you got Lewis, who's got a different studio setup. So that's why I went through this little rigmarole. Okay. So the topic that we want to get to tonight is something related to burnout, or what happens when we lose. Motivation is a good word for it. Okay. So, and what we're feeling, and and what happens and what to do. So
Yeah.
I'm in an unmotivated state right now. Okay. And it shows. I haven't done squat except Friday nights, which I look forward to because I get to see you guys. And now that I'm bringing you in and I could talk to you, this is like an elaborate phone call, honestly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's uplifting for me. So you guys talk. This is where I want you to express yourself. What happens when you have a motivation dip? You know.
Well, Lewis, what I was sharing with Peter, the reason I came on tonight really was I was wondering if some people, even in the chat who have channels, can relate to, the ups and downs of subscriber count, the ups and downs of channel activity, the ups and downs of it all. And, this channel that I started in November had a pretty strong start, much stronger than I expected. Okay. And then, I've moved into a couple of dips, and then there's been another big hit, another kind of viral video, and now I'm back in the dip again. And so I'm really, I want to be present through this whole process because I was telling Peter, I don't want to give in to the demotivating factor of the activity on my channel. I want to be motivated by it being my creative outlet, which it's been my creative outlet. The storytelling that I love, the things that I'm bringing up and I'm processing. It's so much of my therapy connected to my, photography, stuff, and so I want to stay with that. But I'm feeling some of the down
mm-hmm.
as activity has lessened. And every 28 days, right, you get that little, this is how many subscribers you have in the last 28 days, right? And so my last 28 days is slowly every day coming down, and I do not want that to be the motivating factor, and because that's where I do see people really struggling with it, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to get on tonight and talk about, because I know Peter has shared, like he just said, he's kind of struggling with that too. So, and I know that you've been doing this for a long time, Lewis, obviously, and so that's what I wanted to bring up tonight. Kind of what I wanted to share. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
And add to it.
Uh-huh.
I look at it completely different because I just look at a lot of things differently. So whenever I try to tackle a problem or a challenge, then I always try to figure out what is the root cause of that challenge. So now, my question to both you and
World
Peter.
right now. That's what I do all day on my couch. So now you're talking about that's what I do all day. So keep going. This is good. I'm getting it.
Okay, so it's like, to get to the root cause is like you have to almost ask yourself, to remind yourself, is like, what is the motivation for you to create the video?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the dopamine hit that you're getting out of it is in the creation process, then I would advise you to recognize that and dwell in it, right? And dwell in the creation process, because that is what you actually have control over. And all of the other things that you're saying that can lead to unmotivation of your content, of your creation, is things that are completely out of your control. Like
Mm-hmm.
subscriber counts, view counts, all of those things is completely secondary and apart from the creation process, which is where I find the solace. Like I always tell everyone, I try to make more content because I'm just trying to create more content, and that is to benefit both the audience, right? The camera junkie crew and myself. But what I get the most out of my creation process is the creation process. It is
Yep,
like
me too.
I love nerding out on the edit. I
Yep.
love taking extra time in little details that nobody's even going to notice. And it's almost so that people don't notice details, right? Because that's where I get my excitement from creation.
Yep.
If I get a video and nobody's commenting on the thing that I think was probably the worst part of the video, then that's a success for me, right? Because of the fact that, like, what I think would be my worst part is like things that people don't even notice. So that's where I kind of, or what I use to avoid the burnout, right? Or the lack of motivation, because the reason of my motivation is not the numbers that happens afterwards. That's just, hey, what I call the cherry on top. If it happens, that would be great. But if it doesn't, it's just as great.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I relate to it as well. You know, that it's always been the process for me as well. You know, and I think what I'm really digging into right now, because I'm fascinated. I mean, I do what I do because I'm fascinated by our human psychology. So the stuff that's coming up for me is I'm really present with, and I know that human psychology is, we gravitate towards things that are rewarding. You know, anything where there's a little dopamine reward, we gravitate toward, and eventually we can become dependent on the source of that dopamine reward, right? And as I've started out really strong, all of that dopamine reward has been going on. Okay. And also I've been very aware, keenly aware that I'm experiencing that. So you know what I did about a month ago is I pulled back. I slowed down on purpose because I started feeling like, that thing, right? I got to produce more. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get stuck into that, because the
Anxiety.
process, like you said, yeah. And what you said, Lewis, is what I want to stay with. The joy is in the process, you know, and I want to keep enjoying that, because that's why I started it in the first place. You know, it was to express my creativity. And so I purposely you know, if anybody else has ever tried this, but for me, I stopped producing as much, and I started, you know, doing that on purpose, kind of like letting that go so that I don't get caught up in that anxiety, like you said, you know, and I feel like that's a better strategy for me for the long game, because I'm in this for the long game. I want to be doing this as a creative outlet for myself for, you know, as long as I can. And I don't want to get to a place where I start feeling, you know, here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to get to a place, Lewis, Peter, where I feel like I have to put out a video that says, I quit, when I'm not really quitting because I need subs. I don't want to do that.
Right.
That is such baloney, man. I hate that, right?
Carlos, man, if I ever see that thumbnail, I purposely never watch the video.
Me either.
Right.
Because
Me either,
first
dude.
of all,
Good for you.
listen, first of all, nothing in that video is going to benefit me. Not a
You're
damn
right.
thing.
You are
so
right.
Sorry.
Damn right, dude.
It is like pity party for somebody else. Now, this is the whole thing that I leave. I see those thumbnails and I just make a mental note and I go, I didn't watch it, but I'll see if they're still making something in 6 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because the only proof that you're going to say the I quit like thumbnail is if you actually quit.
Like
if I
really
go back and I was like, yo, that was his last video.
Do.
Like literally like they never do. So whenever I see it, I'm like, listen, okay, I'll see you next week. That's what I see. Like when I see those thumbnails, I'm like, see whatever video comes on after that, because it serves me no purpose. I'm not going to cater to the pity party. And it's something that I just like defiantly cannot stand, because it's just exactly that. It's like, it's a ploy. So
it is.
I'm new to this stuff. Listen, I'm new to this stuff, but the reason why I create is not for the admiration that I can get as far as subscribers and views. And I get comments on my videos a lot like, why don't you have like all these subscribers, right? And all this stuff. And I take that as a compliment, right? Because they see the quality in the work. But at the same time, I'll be like, I appreciate it, but I didn't make the video for that. So for that reason, it doesn't bother me that I don't have the subscribers.
Right.
Because
Right.
the reason for my creations are not that. It is my outlet, my community that I absolutely love, that I do every single week on my live stream, is like, that is where my heart is, so to speak. Like, the community is second to none. And I want to create more because people would like to see more of my creations. But at the same time, I don't create more so that I start disliking the process of creation, which is the whole reason why I'm here in the first place.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And those videos are the most cringe things on YouTube, man.
Yeah,
Just
the vibes have to do with everything. So if you're not excited for it, then it's hard for me to like create the video for it, because the enthusiasm just it pours out through your eyes, so to speak, when you're just talking about something that you're genuinely excited about, compared to just making something that you have to make because of any other reason.
That's right. Yeah.
Since we got it out on the table, let me widen it a little bit. Okay. What we started with, I've been on here since 2008, 2009, legitimately. Okay. So I've gone through some different cycles myself.
I'll be right back.
Okay, that's okay. Shane's in the green room too. So I don't know how to mute a person video wise. Can I do that, Lewis? Just to mute somebody? Can I put?
We're not in Zoom. If on interview mode, you can mute us all.
All?
Yeah, like on the sound levels where it says interview, you can mute all the interview, but that'll mute me, Carlos, and anyone in interview mode.
No, I meant video wise. Like Carlos just left and came back. How would I have made it so you can't watch that?
You could like the same way that you added his camera at the bottom with the little plus symbol.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see a negative symbol in place of it now because he's already on camera. Right. Then you could just click that off and he will be removed off camera and it will automatically put you and I side by side.
Okay. All right. So let's say hi to Shane real quick so he doesn't just sit in the green room. Okay.
Yeah, man. Get Shane in here.
Shane is, let me find how to add him. All right, Shane, if you're ready to go, I'm going to put you on in 3, 2, 1. Okay. There he is.
Blast
okay.
off.
And this is the guy that we need to talk to right now.
Yeah. Apologies if the audio sucks. I'm not at home at the moment. We went away for the weekend.
No, that's fine. So, that's fine.
I'm using a mic built into these old headphones.
That's
You're
cool.
Good, man.
So Shane would be the big guy on the block here. Okay.
He's kind of the guy I want to have this conversation with right now. So
now Shane has been here physically. He stood right here next to me. I've given him a hug. We've eaten, and you're going to come back again one day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're working on the plan. So that'd be awesome.
I'm saying that so you guys know we are friends. I'm friends with Shane, and I talk with him through Facebook because I'm sorry, I'm spitting. He's in Australia, so I found out the hard way. A phone call is very expensive to call and talk to.
Yeah, we worked that out.
So we worked that out.
What's it called? iMessage and stuff. Now it's free, which is great.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to the show, Shane. He's in Australia. His time difference is he's in tomorrow. We're in today, nighttime.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. So looking good, and you sound good, Shane.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've never used this rig. It was a makeshift like workstation. I bought some headphones, and I realized I had the cable, so it all worked out all right.
Nice.
Nice. It's not. This isn't my usual setup, by the way.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I can see the hallway.
Yeah,
you
of course
have
not.
you've got 2 studios, right? He doesn't have 1 studio. He's got either 2 studios or 1 studio and 2 walls. Which is it?
I had 2 studios and one wall. I had 1 studio and 2 walls, and now I've got the opposite. So I've just moved house, and it's been a bit of a fun experience, as it always is.
Is that that's the new house that you're in now?
No, we went away for the weekend. So yeah, this
You're
is just
somewhere
where
mobile.
where we're staying. Yeah.
Okay, have you been following the conversation we're having? Or
Yeah, I have. It took me a
so I
while
don't-
to work out how to join without it being obscenely bad. So
No,
yeah.
you look as normal as me and Lewis and well, almost as normal as Carlos.
Not
No, I'm
enough
teasing.
background.
Carlos looks completely fine. No problem.
Yeah.
A little blown out, but what can I do? I'm outside. What can you do?
No, I've corrected you. So
Thank you.
at over 100,000 subscribers, you get that lack of motivation feeling, Shane? How do you handle that if you get it, or does it just not come into your room over there?
I've done this a long time, and the channel's actually at 250,000, so it's
Oh,
grown quite a lot since 100K. But it's so inconsistent, and if you at all concern yourself with numbers always going up or videos always blowing up or whatever, it doesn't work. I'm so choosy with what I do on both channels. I don't say yes to everything. I've gone through a time where I just tried everything I could. But it's just about if you're getting bored and burnt out, it means that the process or the topic or you're doing or anything related to what you think you need to stick to needs to change. And, you know, in the guitar niche on my YouTube channel, I was one of the first to ever have a podcast. I was like one of 2 people back in the day, and then everyone's got them now, right? So you've just got to think outside the box for what it is you're doing and try to keep it interesting for yourself. So I love playing guitar. I'm a musician, but I also love using cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I've kind of combined them into things that are fun to produce on both channels. And if I'm getting bored, it's my own fault. It usually is.
so
There's no other way
you're
around it.
you're running 2 channels, Geeky Nerdy Techie, okay?
Yeah.
Which
Peter,
would be
can I step in real quick?
Yeah,
Can I step in
please
real quick?
go ahead.
Because I don't want to lose what Shane just said. Okay.
Good.
It's his fault. You know, it's nobody else's fault if he's bored or loses motivation or feels burnt out, right? It's our fault. And I think you hit on something, Shane. It's really because I'm not not burned out personally. I am experiencing as a new YouTuber the ups and downs of a strong start and then slow stuff and then another kind of big boost and then another kind of slow, and now I'm in a slow. Okay, I'm in a point right now where my last
happens to me too.
right, and so I'm in a place where my last I just did that thing with my Ozbot. Okay, there we go. Where my last 4 videos have been a little slower, and I'm feeling some of that stuff, Shane. I'm feeling some of that, that normal, a little bit of a demotivator entering the picture. And I was sharing with Lewis, like that's where that little monster starts coming into the head, of now trying to play to the pressure, and maybe, and I don't want to do this, but I see a lot of people doing it. I think, the guy who puts up the video, I'm quitting YouTube, right? We were just talking about the Luis. I never want to compromise myself to feel like I ever have to do that. Like that would be, forget it, man. But it would be my fault. Like you said, it would be my fault if I get there though, because I'm not finding enough. I'm not connecting with my creativity and not depending more on that in the process. Rather, I'm starting to depend more on the dopamine, and I don't want to become that.
Yeah, I'm going to add one more thing too that no one gives you suggestions for. It's okay to take a break, right? I take every January off, so I have a full month off basically of not making any content, and it's so refreshing. It's motivating.
Wow.
And if I feel like I'm not going to produce a video the next week because I don't want to, I don't. And it all comes down to anything creative has to be inspiring. And I'm not always inspired. There's things I commit to and I say, I have to do this. I'm going to do it. If I'm not feeling it that day and I'm filming it, I say to my girlfriend, Rhiannon, I say, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm going to do this tomorrow. And usually the fresh mindset early in the day before all the other clutter comes in to your day is the best time for me to shoot, and that's sort of like, it's liberating. You know, it's always the second take that's better than sometimes the first, and sometimes the first take is fine, but it depends on your mindset. And I've just found over the years, like, if you're not feeling it, shoot it when you are. And the more time that goes by between uploads, the more motivated you'll be. And odds are you'll come up with potentially a better idea. Now, it all comes down to the niche of everybody's channels and what you do and all that kind of stuff. But I've created so many unique things in the guitar niche that so many other people have copied. No, that's not a boastful thing. It's like, I'm thinking, like, what can I do that hasn't been done? It's like the first to do guitar shop walkthrough videos where it's like a little documentary, and that's bringing the sort of filmmaker thing into my guitar channel. You know, it's fun. And, you know, occasionally I'll go to a guitar shop to test out a lens. It's like, so it's a good kind of like motivating factor. I'm combining a few things to make it fun.
Yeah.
There's so many people. I'm also going to add to feedback. Usually it's good to get feedback on a video you put a lot of work into, but then you'll find, I was talking to a guy who's got 1 million subs about this recently, right? I said, do you ever go through a period where you'll upload a video and you put no effort into it? It's like this. You're talking to the camera. You've got an idea, a concept, or something that people can throw their opinion into. It took you no time to edit the video. There's no fancy B-roll, and it outperforms everything that you've put like plenty of time into.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what happens to me all the time. So I almost have a theory about this, and we were brainstorming some stuff, and I almost think YouTube looks for the overproduced hard cuts now, and they prefer something more casual and more like the old days. I'm seeing a lot of channels that have no production value, that might have good audio and a decent camera, but no fancy graphics and all the stuff that we think we need. And they're absolutely killing it because they're personable and interesting. I really think that it's changed completely. And already I'm thinking to myself, like, sorry, this chair's really short. I'm already thinking to myself now, like, all right, I need to pivot the channel. It doesn't need to look like this. The idea of me presenting something to the camera in a particular way doesn't need to exist. The more authentic the channels are, the better they do long term. It may take longer if you're not doing the clickbaity kind of stuff that you quitting YouTube. I reckon everyone who posts those videos should stay quit because they always come back.
Yeah.
They always do. Yeah.
So you said you take off for a month, so that was
January.
New information.
That's awesome.
Do you do it unannounced and it just happens, or do you say I'll be back in a month? That doesn't matter that much, but you just take off for a month. And then the second thing you said is, if you're not feeling it, don't do it today, do it tomorrow. Okay. Or when it rolls. And so that takes the pressure off. Like, I've got to do a video today. Geez, I got to sit down here, and you're building a steam pot of pressure on your own self, you know, which is kind of important.
I think that self-care, I didn't mean to cut you off. That self-care, Sean, is what I'm hearing. It's that self-care, right? You know, you're better with that month off. You're better with that month off, right?
I go really hard in November and December. Like, I pre-schedule a lot of videos well ahead of, like, 2-3 weeks ahead of where I'm at. And then I'm like, I'm done. I just need to take some time off, or I might schedule a few videos for those for January, but they're already shot. Or I'm not at home. I might be somewhere else, and I'm like, it's a nice day. I want to do a video, and that'll be the only one that goes up. It might be something like that. So it really helps. You know, there's a lot of bad YouTube advice that comes from people who have been successful for reasons they probably don't understand. And schedules are somewhat important, but they're not going to make or break the channel. Again, if I don't upload for a month, I start posting again. It makes no difference.
Right.
Yeah. So, and there should also be, like, I guess, like, an end result out of videos. The videos that have an end result for me are the ones that are getting, like, clicks all the time for years. If there's a payoff and it's helpful, or how do you do this, how do you do that, those videos are usually the best.
Carlos, help me arrive at a certain point, okay? because I might get distracted. So keep me on track.
Yeah, let's. I love this because we're all YouTubers, and I think there are people probably in the chat too who are probably going to get something out of this as well. Because I know a lot of people are struggling with it with a psychological part of this, and so I don't know, Shane. I don't know if I bring that same kind of thing I bring my practice. I bring my psychology practice um, into my photography lens. So that's kind of where my niche is, and I blended those things together. So, for instance, Peter, you remember the video I did on what does your camera say about you?
Yeah.
And so I'm getting into that, and I don't see a lot of therapists or psychologists doing that on YouTube. They're just talking about straight up, psychology, and so they're not combining their passion projects or their hobbies or their creativity to their craft as a psychologist or therapist. That was just purely as a clinician. I just want to get on YouTube and share my uh, my photography excitement, my amateur photography excitement, but I'm gonna tie it into what I do for a living, just because that's who I am, and
Yeah, cool.
that somehow has made a connection with a lot of people. Here's the thing I found: the same kind of people that are connecting to my channel are people who I tend to see in my office. They're they're creatives, but they're creatives who have experienced things like depression, things like anxiety, those kinds of things. And it's so funny. I didn't realize I was going to connect with this kind of crowd, but you're hitting on that. It's very evergreen. That's for sure. Okay, I mean, you can watch his stuff forever, and it goes and it goes. Because I'm not talking about the obvious. I'm not talking about the technicals of my camera. I'm talking about more of the psychology behind it, and general creative people in general. I'm not even limiting it to photography, but I'm talking about creatives in general, filmmakers. I do a lot of creative journaling. People are connecting with me. Some people have actually sent me their creative journals to summarize my video. That is like, holy cow.
Nice.
Like they broke down the whole video in a creative journal with pictures and cutouts and everything. I'm just like, oh, you have no idea like how excited that makes me, right? Because it's having an impact, and it's good. But again, I'm sure that a lot of people can probably resonate with the fears. You've pushed through a lot of this. You've gotten. It sounds like you're in a really good groove. You know your limitations. You're taking time off. You're and you continue, obviously. But I'm wondering if there are a lot of people just. I'm looking kind of, Peter, in your chat, and I'm wondering if there are people in here who are struggling, to just do it, right? And they're seeing a lot of this other stuff out there, and maybe it's giving them the heebie-jeebies,
I tell
And
you what,
I
like,
just want, right? Go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. No, you're right.
No, go ahead.
I got a lag. I was just going to say, like, you've still got to push through the plateaus. Like, my channel's now getting less views than it ever has, and there's multiple factors for it. One, I probably don't do enough interesting stuff a lot of the time. There's saturation in guitar effects pedals. There's saturation in cheap lens reviews on my other one, right? So you're not going to get sometimes. Actually, that the tech channel's moving up, but the guitar channel's kind of fallen slightly. But I'm all right with that. There's so many more channels now than there were. You've just got to stick to what makes your channel identifiable and unique. There's a million people doing this. There's a million people doing that. So what are you doing that's a little bit different? Yeah, I made the mistake of not on the guitar channel necessarily, but on the tech channel, trying to do things a certain way, and now I'm not doing those things a certain way anymore. I've sort of let those things go because, there's enough of those sort of channels out there.
I started 2008, 2009. At that
Yeah.
time, they wanted to keep the videos short. Then it moved over to longer, and I adapted to that very easily because I do talk a lot, so it was easy for me to do. Okay, but now yeah, well, but now they've migrated into shorts.
Don't be mean,
Okay,
Shane.
and and shorts, are limited to 1 minute, which is hard
Yep.
to say anything. But now they're taking the shorts and
That's
they've
right.
expanded a
There are 3
short to
minutes now.
3 minutes, and now you can make the short square instead of 16 by 9. So it's easier to make a short and make it longer. So I'm more interested in beginning to make something into those uh, whatever the rules are for that, and start doing a little bit more of that. Now Lewis
Right.
has
I was
got
about to say.
something unique, to because he travels and he'll go to something in Las Vegas, which he didn't go, or something to the Northeast, and that keeps things fresh. And I know, Shane, you do some traveling too, also. Okay, not a good sentence, but I mean, as you get around a little bit. But I think out of the four of us, Lewis travels the most. And just a side note, real quick, I'm not being rude to everybody that's in the comments area, but because we've got 4 boxes, if I put the comment across the bottom, it's going to cover Lewis and Shane. So that's why I'm not putting the comments up. Just I see you there. Everybody else sees you there. Randy, Kumbasha, Sly, all you guys, I'm acknowledging you. Now we'll get back into the show. So the shorts are expanding to where we were in YouTube in 2010. Okay, make a YouTube and make it short, like 5-8 minutes. Okay. By the way, that's you, Lewis. That
Okay.
feedback that we're hearing is you. Just so you know, I went through muting each one of us, and it's coming from something in your
Oh,
audio
then
there.
that's Aiden. That's Aiden playing in the background, and it's
Oh,
recognizing the voice on the game as a
no
voice
problem.
too.
The
So
Aiden
my
gets a free
apologies.
pass. Aiden
Not
gets a
If
free
bothering me.
if it's
pass.
regular noises, it blocks it out. But if it's actual words, it recognizes it and lets it through.
Right,
So
Okay,
right,
sorry.
right, right,
no problem.
right.
Aiden gets a
I've
free
been trying to
pass.
look at the mic myself because I'm aware of it, but I didn't know that you guys were hearing it. Sorry.
Now I hear it. It's in my ears. So I muted Shane, then I muted Carlos, I muted myself, and I muted you, and it disappears with you. But let's stay on track. This is interesting stuff.
It's
Okay,
relentless
so
with Aiden. But well, just to add to that, I do travel a lot, and that's actually one of the things that I wanted to mention as far as what kind of helps me like avoid the burnout, so to speak. And it's similar to what Shane said, where he takes that time off, but it's more to what Carlos said, which is being present. And that's the thing that I try to do the most. So my last trip was to Podfest earlier January, and I don't post while I'm there, right? I don't put the burden of me having to either create a short, create a video that I have to have out by the next day to be representative of where I'm at currently to enjoy the experience. So what I do is that I actually just enjoy the process of creation in my favorite form, which is photography, right?
mhm.
I'm blessed enough to be able to make videos that allows me to do photography as a hobby for myself, where I'm constantly taking pictures for myself
Right.
and I don't have to like deliver them to anyone. And in that same aspect is how I do it when I go into these events, whether it's video or the photography, is that I just soak it all in. Like I enjoy the experience and I try to be as present as possible with the events that are happening there. And that's kind of like my own little break or vacation, because I'm removing the expectation of having to create something on a deadline. And that allows me to just, like I said, just kind of open up my senses. And I feel that the reason why in photography it's hard for us to actually photograph our own environment and it's easier for us to do it when we go abroad is because how we get accustomed to our environment, we don't see the beauty that lies within it. But as soon as we remove ourselves from our natural environment, our senses automatically get into kind of a mapping mode, right? Where because we're not accustomed to it, we're starting to now make mental notes of landmarks and things like that because we're mapping a new area. And in that process of our mental mapping is where the creativity lies. And you're like, oh, look at those palm trees. And that framing is amazing. Snap, snap, and grab a picture.
Yep.
And
now
I'm
you said the
able to
word
do
palm
that.
trees, and it triggered in my mind. There's 4 of us on the screen. Carlos, who's in the upper right, okay, he doesn't present a video. Here's my new camera, okay. He is not using equipment as a prop, where the other 3 of us here are, and Shane is double because he's got a technology channel and he's got a music channel.
I
The
also
only
make a lot of different content too. But yeah, the premise of it was just gear reviews. But yeah, you're right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Early on.
expand on what you're doing there, because I was going to do it for you. I'd rather you what
Oh, that's all right.
you know, on your
So
music
like,
channel you will actually do music, which is not
yeah,
introducing a new guitar or foot pedal or something like that. Okay. Carlos has none of that. It's the same camera week after week after week and month after month. He's not introducing anything new other than a mental point of view, you know.
Yeah, I'm actually talking to a lot of people like you, Shane, creatives, right? And so it kind of ties into a lot of the sports psychology that I used to do years ago, and a lot of the motivational interviewing that I do in my practice. It's the same thing with creatives. I find myself struggling in my creativity throughout my life. I've struggled, I've had ups and downs in that creativity, and I've been able to recognize the triggers, the rituals, that are reason why I lose motivation, or the pressures, the insecurities, the fears, the fear of rejection, the fear of people pleasing, all that kind of stuff that gets in the way of sustainable creativity. And my mother was an artist, and that's where I got a lot of my creativity. All of my, if you ever walk into my office, I have my office where I actually, I'm a brain doctor basically, right? So as I'm sitting there, when people walk into my office, they're like, "What? I've never seen, an office like this before. This is really bizarre," because it's very artistic,
yeah,
even in
cool.
the way I decorate, right? Kind of looks like that. So, but you're like the kind of person, you're fascinating to me because you're sustainable. Like what you're doing is you've been doing it and you continue to do it, and then you do your time off, whatever your strategy is. And I know I'm assuming that it's not all, like you even mentioned a minute ago, you're seeing it's not all perfect, but it's sustainable. I think the way that you're doing it, and it's joy. When I say sustainable, I'm thinking about, I want to experience sustainable fulfillment, Shane. That's what I want. And that's what I think all of us want, is fulfillment that's sustainable. I don't want to go through seasons of joy and fulfillment followed by seasons of despair and hopelessness. I don't want
Yeah.
that,
So
man.
the thing that like hard work got me results. No questions
Yeah.
about it. I grinded for a
Yeah.
long time. I
Mm.
put the best amount of effort I could into projects. I get home from working at an IT job for 8-9 hours, come home in my clothes and film my
That's
guitar
it.
reviews. I'd leave my work
Yeah.
clothes on. If I got changed, it was game over. Um,
Yeah.
and you also said something interesting before. You said that most of the people watching your channel feel like clients. And I wonder if you've got enough separation between your job and if I was a full-time musician, I probably, now I'm not, I play part-time for fun, and that to me is
Mm-hmm.
the best. If I played
Mm-hmm.
full-time music all the time, I'll reverse it. If I only shoot guitar videos every day, I'll never want to go play live. And that's what I enjoy the most. I love playing live. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if it's too similar to your day gig, maybe that's part of the problem. But I should also point out that if you don't want to see any downturn in your YouTube channel, then
No.
that's not realistic. It's going to go
Yeah.
up and
No. It's
down.
the
I get
right.
disheartened. I see my views. I used to get 1.2 million views a month for like 7 years. It was
Mm.
always the same. Whether I was upload, it was just always
Wow.
there. and then
Yeah.
it got up to 1.5, and then it would go to 750,000, which is where it's at now. And I'm nowhere near as diligent with uploads as I used to be. I'm all right with that. If I am only looking at, I used to be able to do this, the landscape's completely changed, and there's like 1,000, 2,000 more YouTube channels doing exactly what I used to do in the early days now, and there's more options. I was talking to a few people. I went to Japan. Was it last year for a camera
It wasn't
launch?
too long ago.
Yeah. And like they were saying that it's harder now to get views from channels that are huge because of everyone else doing the same thing, right? So you just got to take it as it comes, but do it because you want to do it. And I've shot plenty of videos when I wasn't interested, and I think early on, not interested, sorry, when I wasn't motivated. I was interested, but I might have had a bad day. I was like, I just got to get this done. If I don't do it tonight, I'm never going to film it. I went through that process, and it obviously helps. But as I said before, if you've just got to do it when you want to do it in the early days and keep it fun, because as soon as you start trying to do 3 uploads a week or whatever, you're creating a second job for yourself. And unless you're doing it full time, like I've been doing this full time now 10 years, no other day job other than if I do other work for, I film something for somebody else, which is pretty infrequently. It's sort of like you're just doubling your workload with very little payoff, and you've just got to keep it fun and interesting, and just think. My friend got so close to 1,000 subs. I helped her with a whole bunch of stuff, and she quit. And I couldn't believe it. I said, this is going to take 6 months. It might take a year, but just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to work. It's already working. I haven't got to 1,000 yet. I haven't got to 1,000 yet. You've been doing it 4 or 5 months or something. Just keep at it. And she quit. I couldn't believe it. She's like, she didn't enjoy the process. And I said, well, maybe it's not for you. Or maybe you can delegate. Obviously, you're a doctor. So maybe if the editing process is causing you too much grief, just outsource it to somebody. And then you don't have to. All you do is make the creative part of the video. I need to do that. I should delegate stuff way more than I do, and I just don't do enough. I don't trust enough people that have enough capabilities with editing for some of the projects. But if it's simple enough video, you can sort of handball this stuff off, and it will make. I know heaps of people that do that. This is where
Shane,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
this is my kind of third kind of go at this channel, and this third time has kind of really hit it. So the first 4 months, I was around a little over 6,000 subscribers in the first 4 months, and enjoying it, really enjoying it, because this is the first time that I really feel like it's dedicated to my creativity, and that's different from what I was doing before. The first channel I started was very much about my therapy. Okay, that was what all of that was about. This is about my passion projects, my creativity, and it's connecting with that therapy. And I think this is what I don't feel at all like I need to change anything. I just feel like things are good. But what I'm saying is, I feel a little of that pressure, Shane, a little bit of that, little tiny less views over the last few videos. And I can, because I'm so self-aware, I can sense that anxiety coming up, and wanting to kind of start bending the knee to the pressure, to creating more, and to start, what's happening here. And I think I told Peter a little bit ago, a month ago, I purposely backed off and started only creating. I limited to my videos. I went ahead and decided, no, I'm going to stretch them out a little bit further, because I don't want to start getting sucked into the pressure of it. But I can feel it, Shane. And I'm sure people get stuck in that. I don't want to get stuck in that.
It's consuming. It's really consuming, because it's an ego boost to anyone who does it, whether they admit it or not. It is.
That's right.
I've copped the worst comments you've ever read in your life, and I see them every month, and I'm so used to them now. But it's also 95%, 99% positive, right? And as the channel grows, you see more of, and it's that one thing that can ruin your day. But yeah, it's really consuming. If you're focusing solely on subscribers, YouTube's completely changed. Sorry to change topics, but it used to be about subs and all that sort of stuff. I've always said to people, it's more about views than it is about subs.
Yeah.
Subs are good, obviously, and regular viewers and connecting with people and all that kind of stuff. But it depends. Like subs, I feel like now, whether you're on the subscribers homepage or the regular YouTube feed, it's the same thing essentially, right? They're giving you what the algorithm is trying to feed you, what they think the viewer wants. They're not pushing all of your content to the viewer. It's a completely different. It's a completely different algorithm now. So whether you're subscribed to channels or not, it makes no difference. It's obviously different if you want to monetize it and do all that kind of stuff. But I get I've had 130 million views on one channel, or maybe more now, I don't know. But it's like I see so many new viewers based on the analytics every month that have never seen the channel before.
You got someone here, Shane. Shane, you got someone here, John Bautista. He's saying, cool. Evening to all. Nice to see Shane on the panel. Been using all of his videos to learn more about my S5 Mark II. So how Jan found you here, I have no clue. Okay. So of the 4 people on this panel tonight, I'm the smallest channel. All right. So
this channel, you mean?
This channel here. All right. Yeah. So what I wanted to say is with Carlos, you might be a little bit too close to it, Carlos, because I like to help people, and I remember when you launched your 3rd channel, which is the one you're on right now. Okay, we had 8 or 10 subscribers for you, and I was saying, "Come on, guys, we're a family. Go over there and subscribe to Carlos." Okay, so what do we got here now? We've got 11, 12 people watching. Well, Carlos went from 10, 12, 15 subscribers. Within 2 to 3 weeks, he was over 4,000 subscribers. Okay, and he did nothing illegal. He didn't go out and buy subscribers. We're pretty much, our integrity level is at a high
I don't even
state.
know how to do that.
Okay, right. I don't either, but I know I hear about it all the time. Don't do that, Peter. Well, I'm not. I don't know how. Okay, stop telling me not to do something I don't know how to do. But anyway. Now you're over 6,000, you said? So it does breathe. There's inhale and exhale. Okay? Because if all you did was inhale, you'd blow up. All right? Now on a YouTube channel, that would be nice. Okay? But to go, like, I went from 460 to 465 subscribers a week ago. And now I'm down to 461. So 4 people unsubscribed from this channel. Okay. Now that doesn't make me upset in any way. What I'm trying to point out is because things slowed down for you. You hit a trend that people wanted to watch. That's why you're over 6,000 in 3 weeks. Okay. And some people will obviously hit gold. And they'll be over, like Shane said, 100,000 views and stuff like that. And we don't know why. Okay, so and you're doing it without any props. Here's the newest camera of the week, the newest flavor of our lenses and stuff like that. And the other 3 here, we do use those props. Shane comes in with new lenses for Panasonic, for Sony,
for one of his channels, right?
Yeah. And one of his channels. And on the other channel, he does endless videos on pedals. Okay. Yeah. And what they do, the guitar players, when they're performing publicly, they don't have editing ability when they're on stage. You're going to use those pedals to make your sound come out the way you want. And he will focus on that.
I also post live clips of me playing,
Well, that's what I was trying to say before.
That's cool.
You also will post live clips, and they're very enjoyable. Nice. And I'm not patting you on the back. Really okay, you're really good.
The only way, the reason I mentioned that is because there's nowhere to hide. It's like doing a live stream. You're either good at it, like you are, Peter, or you're sort of not. And my
Good
strength
point.
probably is the live streams, but my strength is that I was a musician playing full time for a long time with blues. I played in the US. I played all over the place,
Okay.
and a lot of YouTube guys will do 40 takes. Some of them are phenomenal players. They're much better players than me too. There's a lot of those,
Yeah.
but that's a real world example of how things sound. And while I do those pedal videos, that's my job. That's how I make that's how I pay the bills. That's a big part of that. And I only choose the ones that are interesting. I don't do everything. I could be posting 10 of them a week, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather have sanity than do a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't interest me. But it took me a while to kind of go, I think I'm done with all this sort of stuff. I'm just going to focus on the stuff that I really like, or that I think will appeal to the audience. There's a huge difference with guitar and tech. Tech's always about what's coming next, whereas guitar products are good for 60 years.
Yeah, right.
So there's a longevity sort of difference there as well, which is why like filmmaking tips and all that kind of stuff will do, or lighting setup tutorials do really well because they're really helpful. So it's
and
interesting.
You don't know what depth you can go to. Like I'm friends with you guys will recognize Sammy Superstar. Okay, he shares all kinds of clips with me, and now he shared a movie that he just put out. Okay, he was a part of, and out of nowhere, it looks like it belongs on Netflix. What the heck did he do different? You know, it is that professionally well done that did you really do that? Okay, because I've seen your practice clips. They don't look like that, So you don't know what the depth capacity is for each one of us. Carlos reached in, and all of a sudden he's making videos where when I first saw them, it was like, boy, this is really interesting. It's me and my camera on a psychological level, and I had to watch what he was doing, When no offense, but before that, he had another channel called The Daily Man, okay, and it didn't click with me other than I love Carlos, so I'm going to support him, okay?
Right.
But it wasn't like I can't wait to see the next video, But now it's I can't wait to see the next video. And on Saturday nights when I'm not at my brother, I got to tune into Lewis and I have to admit I watch for Aiden also, but I'm sorry, he's interesting to me. I've held him,
of course,
and and he weighs like 2 concrete bags and one little kid, and I have an emotional interest in him, or what do you call it when you're connected? So, vested interest in him. So, thank you.
I think
can I redirect this
for Carlos? Sorry, just one thing. With worrying about the views and all this sort of thing, there's 3 analytics or a few analytics that are important for videos to do well. So the first one is the immediate click-through rate, right? How many people are interested in that video? But the most important one, other than likes and comments, which doesn't matter, and I'll explain why. The most important one is just watch duration. So if your video is good and people are watching for a long period of time, then YouTube will push it irrespective of if you think they're not. They absolutely push it. And then it comes down to what title and thumbnail do you have, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be a boring webcam one like this, and they sometimes outperform everything else because they look completely different in the feed. But it has to be intriguing. Now, my niche can be that if it's a discussion about copyright law on music or whatever, right? But I don't make videos like that. It doesn't interest me. I talk about other stuff, but it has to be a wide enough net of appeal mixed with something that can then give you input from somebody else. So if they're commenting, it's great. That will help you in the early days, and those videos will get pushed even further. But there's also channels who have their comments off, and they get 2 million views a video, and they're awesome. And I sit there for 30 minutes. I sit there for 30 minutes, and I watch a guy go camping through the snow and building a hut from
You
Right.
you watch that
Yeah.
stuff? Have
The
you
outdoor
seen
boys.
have you seen the inflatable tents where they push a button and it
Those are
Yeah, it's
sick.
crazy,
and
crazy.
they have a 2-story tent and they got their
Yeah.
dog with them and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
So
And
look at that as an example of breaking all the rules. There's no comments. I don't know if he has. I think he's got likes on his videos, right? So there is interaction there. But
Yeah.
I guarantee you, nearly everyone who watches those videos are watching more than 75% because they're engaging and interesting. He hardly talks, but when he does, it's kind of fun. He's quirky and he's doing something
I
very
put it
different.
on and lay down
It's,
and watch it. It just runs
it's
all the way through,
yeah,
you know.
it's beautiful to watch. And the things that I'm finding that I've done wrong for many years is try to be a presenter, which doesn't it like there's guys who talk calmly and they've got a sort of tonality about their voice that I can really appreciate, even if some people might find them boring. They're generally the people that do well because you're not screaming at the camera. You don't have all of this. People are sick of that. They don't want to see all the same old stuff that worked back in the early days. It's sort of changed. Even
That's
big
so
tech
good.
channels like Linus Tech Tips, for example. I know you'll either love him or hate him. He's got so many different people and his format continually evolves. He used to be a lot more screamy. There was all these stupid jump cuts and it's much more normal now and he's still killing it. So he's just had to change with the times. And and I'm guilty of not being as like authentic in how I would communicate back in the day to how I do it now. You watch my videos back maybe around 2010. My voice was different because people said they couldn't understand me properly. So I sort of dumbed my voice down for years and it became a habit I couldn't get out of.
Okay.
Now I don't care. You don't understand it.
Yeah.
See you later. I don't couldn't care less.
It's that New York accent you got. Stop with the New York accent.
Yeah, right.
I guess it's sort of like what I meant to say before if I didn't already was I bet you those videos that did really well have really great watch time over everything else.
That is the difference. Yeah. That's really the difference, Shane. Is like it's those two things you said are things I've been really looking at. It's the click-through rate, but it's the watch duration.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's like those. It seems. I mean, you're really nailing it because as I've watched those really hold steady, those are the videos that do really well, right? It's the ones that are having the higher watch duration. You know, the click-through rate, those two things. I love what you just said, be a presenter. I had a couple videos where I have my camera in my hand a lot because a lot of when I'm talking about creativity, I'm talking about my own creativity, and this camera right here happens to be my expression of my creativity. So sometimes I have it there and I pick it up and I use it when I'm talking. But I had a couple of people actually in my comments, and I can read them all because I don't have as many as you. I can still read all my comments, you know, all my 30 or so comments. And I had enough people say, Carlos, you don't need to be waving that thing around. Your voice is enough. You know, it's like and it just, you know, and I didn't take that as critical. It just made me think a little bit though. Am I trying too hard here? You know, it's, you know, one of the things that I've got a lot of compliments on is just the storytelling, the sound of my voice. I'm like, okay, why don't I just stay with that? Why don't I just stay with that? I don't need to change my voice or the inflection or anything like that. I don't need to get really loud to make a point.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Shane, what you're saying really makes sense to me, and it helps me a lot because it confirms some things. You know, those things are the most important. Not to get caught up in the subs, not to get caught up in those. But the last thing you said, just want to reemphasize: be a presenter. That really hits me right there. You know, like that mindset of being a presenter. I really like that. It's very helpful.
just doing it in a way where you're not you know, distancing yourself from your own personality. I think there's a lot of folks who either like you ham it up for the sake of they see other people that inspired them to ham it up,
right?
Or to get loud, or have all these jump cuts and graphics because they've watched channels that have done well.
I agree with Shane. I
Yeah,
agree with
it's a
Shane.
really easy trap. It's a really easy trap to fall into, and I've always tried
You're
to
very
like.
natural with the camera in hand, Carlos. Don't throw that out the window. I'd bring that
Yeah,
in
no,
every now and then.
yeah,
It helps
yeah.
to, this is what I'm talking about. And many times I'll do this, and not many times, but if I'm going to talk about this camera, I'll put it
Hmm.
here. I'll do it something because it's a connection, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Absolutely,
armchair
absolutely.
quarterbacking is something a lot of people like to do out there. You
Yeah,
should do this.
yeah,
You should talk like that. You should do
yeah.
this or don't do that.
Right.
And uh, I don't. It sounds a little rude, but for me, it's unless it's coming from somebody like one of you guys. Okay, that's why God made me with 2 ears, because in this one it comes back out this one, And the same thing with the lousy comments.
Yeah,
If they're on topic, I'll leave them on. But
Hmm.
if they're completely off topic, like they're going to talk about my double chin or how I'm old, that's got nothing to do with the content. We're talking
no,
about a
no, totally.
camera or a lens or
Yeah,
something. I don't
yeah,
need you in my living room. And
Yeah,
I used to feel
yeah.
really bad when I removed a comment or even banned a person. But if it's got nothing to do with being uh, adding to the content, negative is fine.
Hmm.
I don't believe in censorship much. Okay,
yeah.
but
Personal attacks go out for me if it's
yeah,
something that's already discussed in the video and they're too stupid to realize it. It's time stamped. Like, oh, where's the disclosure? It's like 10 seconds in, dude. Like, come on, use your brain. You just skipped ahead.
I love
You
that.
know,
Right.
I'll leave
Right.
those comments. But if it's like, oh, I broke a tooth the other day, so I'm dealing with that, but I had it taken out and all that kind of stuff, and the rest of it. And if someone says, oh, something about that, or it's completely off topic, then I if it's unless it's funny, right, I'd leave it. But there's personal attacks of anybody else in the community that comments. I don't like seeing that on my channels. It's sort of unnecessary or off topic.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm the same. I don't like removing stuff unless it's got a lot of like bad language. I don't want to sort of see that on my channels either. It's sort of
Yes.
unnecessary. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you can
learned
moderate
many
your
years
channels however
ago.
you like.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I've learned many years ago that my channel, all of them, the cooking channel even, it's my living room. And if I wouldn't have that person with that comment in my living room,
Mhm.
you're out. Okay. Now,
Right.
that sounds aggressive, but look at it from the reverse. If you're in my living room, you could certainly disagree with me. Okay. So my biggest
Hmm.
video on my cooking channel's got 250,000 views, which is big for me, not
oh,
for
that's great.
Shane. Okay.
That's
Pretty
big.
good.
And
Good for me
people
too.
will, I was making almond milk out of almonds. Okay. And you'd be surprised how nasty people can get.
Yeah.
You're supposed
Mm.
to peel
Oh,
off
I'm
the
sure.
brown stuff and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
well, that adds to the conversation. Okay.
Mhm.
But how I comb my hair or that my tooth is still not there like 20 years later, like Shane
Right.
said, none of your damn business. And Lewis looks like he's dying to say something here. Lewis, you got a
Uh,
comment?
I'm crashing out right now. I'm trying to keep it focused and keep my mind on it before it just wanders off.
Okay.
I guess
Well,
what
okay.
I was trying to say was you're right, Peter. There's plenty of armchair. What did you call it? Quarterbacks? Is that what the term?
Armchair
Armchair
quarterback.
Yeah.
quarterbacking. They
Yeah, yeah.
they do
And
that
it's like,
here.
dude, if you already know it all and you can play guitar great and you're a filmmaker who's produced short films and documentaries and
Yeah.
worked with IFBB bodybuilding champions, go for it. But until you got something to show for it,
Yeah.
you always have to keep that in perspective. A lot of these
Yeah.
dudes
In your
who are
case, unless
commenting,
unless Paul McCartney tells you you're doing it wrong,
yeah, yeah. If
in one ear and out the other.
Eric
Okay.
If
Clapton.
Eric Clapton says, "Oh, that note's
Eric
sucks,"
Clapton.
I'll go,
Right.
"Okay, all right,
Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
pretty good." But
That's right. That's right.
yeah, there's a lot of dudes who think they know more about stuff. It's like how many people get a butt hurt when a camera comes out, and they had no intention of buying it anyway. So
But
it's that sort of
they'll tear it to pieces, right? It's
what?
like
It's not made for me. This
it's
sucks.
not,
It's like you're not the center of everybody's world,
and
dude.
it's not
Like,
the cheap price too. That
yeah,
$9,000
But they
camera.
think they're the center of the world, or they think that they're the center, though.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like
$9,000 camera with everything. They want it to be a grand. You're right, Peter. That's
that's
Right.
exactly
right.
right. That's that mentality.
That's right.
So yeah, I guess you just got to sort of want to do it enough that you're going to come across the 1 in 100 comments or whatever it is for every niche that annoys you. And if you
All
can
right.
live with that,
Yeah.
you'll be all right long term. It still bugs me sometimes. I see something that's an attack on my credibility or work ethic or whatever, or ethics in general. And I'm like, dude, you
Yeah.
missed the entire section in the video. You're an a-hole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, if you're too stupid to watch the video, and it bugs me because it's like, people are attacking that party integrity, and it's like, man, but they're clearly wrong, right? It's like, it's
Yeah,
a
but that
never ending thing when it comes to YouTube. You just got to put up with it, and if you can't, it's not a good platform for
The people's comprehension capability. Like I'll make a video on the cooking channel. I'm sorry that I'm picking on that one so much. And I'll say you set the oven at 350 and you put it in there for 35 minutes, and there's going to be a comment that says, "What temperature do you set the oven at?" And I've said it at
Yep.
least 2 or 3
Yep.
times,
at
and
least at least those are on topic, because my
it should be
favorite ones are the ones that I
351.
get.
What?
My favorite comments are the ones that are be like, "This was like the worst camera review video ever," and I'm like, "It wasn't a camera review video." It's like I can agree with you because
Right.
that wasn't what it
Right.
was. So I just find those completely off topic, like off base comments to be the funniest, because it just, like Shane was saying, it lets you know like they haven't even watched it. They either skip
I don't
through
even.
it and they're only here to leave that comment.
A lot of people don't even read the title. I've literally got in the title
Wow.
ITV
Yeah.
podcast, and they're like, "Where's
Okay.
the guitar in the title?" I'm like, "Dude, you
Right.
clicked on a video that said podcast. Like, it's
Wow.
it's like, yeah,
That's the
This is
thing. I laugh.
it's really fascinating to me because some of you guys have been doing this. I mean, Shane, you and Peter have been doing this for forever, so you guys have seen a lot, and I'm trying to kind of keep myself from future tripping, right? Because what if, or what if this, or what if that? And it's like, no, again, I think some of us have mentioned that word. Lewis, you were talking about being present. I don't want to miss out on the joy and the fun that I'm having in the process. I don't want to miss out on that. But the thing that you guys just mentioned, the negative comments, man, you're so right. If you can't handle that, this is not the place to be. If
yes,
it's going to wreck you. I mean, but here's my issue with the negative comment is because of what I do, I will want to respond,
I'm the
but
same.
I will want to respond in a way that kind of gets behind their psychology. So, for instance, I had a guy recently who said, I turned off your I turned off your video as soon as I heard your music because you're just going to do what every other photography video does. So I did respond and I said, I'm really sorry that you did that because I think you probably missed out on something you would have got a lot out of. But I understand why you would do that. It makes total sense that you would do that because of your experience with whatever videos you're watching. A day later, he sends me an email, right? And the email was unbelievable. I am so thankful that you didn't get hurt by my criticism. I ended up watching your video and I'm so glad I did, but I only did because of how kind
The
you
comment.
were with the criticism I gave you. That I don't plan on doing that with everybody. That is not, I don't think that's, but it's just, that's kind of where I want to go sometimes. I will analyze a negative comment and think, is this worth it? Is it worth actually responding to, or is it just like a troll? I don't need to deal with those, right?
Yeah.
But
You can weigh that up for yourself. I sort of sometimes go, man, I can't believe this comment I saw, and I talked to Rhiannon, and she goes, just get rid of it. Don't even worry about it, because you reply. If you're doing what you do, it's obviously it kind of works in reverse for you. But
Yeah.
I'm very direct with people, and it's like I've over the years now. I'm just like, I got to let this go. It's just get rid of it. Done. For me, that's the best. Or if it's not personally offensive, I just leave it. It's like, well, they can have their opinion too. It doesn't bother me.
The ones I love to ban are the ones that say, "There's 17 minutes of my life I'll never get back," and I'll ban them and go, "Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You'll never see another one of my videos." So, well, guys, unless you want to go in any particular, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lewis. I don't want to cut.
I was just gonna say, like, if something really gets to me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I will type out the entire response of everything that I want to say. I
and
just
throw it away.
Send. I'll let it get all out of my system, and then I'll delete it, and then I'll just let that go. So I don't know if that helps anyone. But it is something that I do to just kind of get that initial like anxiety out, right? Of like it's almost like a front, like being slapped in the face and be like, okay, you know what? This is how I feel, but I'm not going to let you know about it. And I just won't send it.
Yeah. A psychologist did that to me once. Write a letter to this person and then never send it, So that's the smaller version of that,
I learned that from Aiden.
That's good. That's good.
Wow.
I mean, that really is
that's amazing.
That's a really healthy. That's a healthy strategy. I think a really healthy strategy, right? It's like sometimes you don't even need to have a conversation, a hard conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
You may not need to. Work it out a little bit first, process it maybe with someone else, or like you said, write it out. I may not even need, when I get up tomorrow morning, I may not even feel like I need to actually have that conversation. It may not be necessary, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like when you're watching a movie, right? Sometimes you'll lash out at the TV screen like, hey, run or do something. It's not something that is really prevalent, but you just kind of need to just get it out, so to speak.
Let it go.
Right. That's so true, man. That is so true. I think there's a little bit of, I mean, if you ever watch, however you feel about Jordan Peterson, but just the way that he communicates, certain people like him, what they'll do is he might have somebody come up to the podium and ask him a question, but the question is not really a question, right? It's an activist statement. But what he'll do is what he'll do is what we're trained to do. He'll say, he won't react. Instead, he'll say, well, I guess the question I have for you is, why did you feel you needed to call me that name within that question? And that all of a sudden just puts everything back on this person. And what that does, it de-escalates the person usually. It usually de-escalates them. Now they're in a place where they're like, oh, I was expecting you basically to attack me back. That's what they were expecting. But all of a sudden, totally. And that's kind of what we do when we're working with couples or whatever. That's what I'm having these two people do with each other. And it works. It creates harmony. It de-escalates their partner when they're able to say, instead of making that statement, they're able to ask that question. And I can see part of me wanting to do, I think I'm going to have boundaries is what I'm trying to say, Shane. I can see in my future, I'm going to have boundaries and not respond to all that stuff because I'm going to want to, but I'm going to have to let it go.
That's the most critical point that's running through the theme tonight is our reaction to the comments. It should never get that close to us. It should be only take the good ones and absorb them. Let them pick you up. Let them encourage you. Go ahead, Lewis.
I'm going to leave you guys with this. Is when you understand as a creator that the comments that are being left on your videos, the person's opinion, whether good or bad, and listen to what I'm telling you, the person's opinion, whether good or bad, is coming from the same place. It's coming from a place of ignorance. They have an idea of who you are, but they really don't know your struggle. So once you put that into perspective and understand that whether it's praise or hatred, from that person is coming from the same place, it leads me at least to put comments and things that are being said about me in its correct place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless what's the saying for life? Unless you walk in another man's shoes, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
If you
this
have a, if
happened
you have
to
a,
me.
yeah,
This happened to me tonight.
yeah,
I will flip through a lot of YouTube videos, and this little 5-year-old, 7-year-old kid was presented with his new baby sister, and he started bawling and didn't want to hold her, and this and that, and I started to think he's spoiled. Okay, it wasn't like a humble "I'm crying because I'm so
yeah.
touched." It was,
Right, right.
if you watch the rest of the video, which I happened to watch, I don't want to cry now. His mother died giving birth to that sister.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that
Oh my god.
sister represented the death of his mother. But
Mm,
I was blaming the kid for being a spoiled brat because of the way he was acting, but I didn't know
mm-hmm,
the story, you know? So
mm-hmm,
unless you know the story of what a person's going through, sometimes it's a good
mm-hmm,
idea just to let things pass, you know? You don't have to
mm-hmm,
pass judgment on everything. You can not
mm-hmm.
like something, it's okay,
Right.
you know?
Well, I think the
And
people who are going to have, I think the people who are going to really struggle the most with negative comments and maybe even stop this altogether, I think, are the people that maybe are carrying a lot of shame. They're carrying a lot of low self-worth because those comments are going to say something about them. They're going to personalize the comments, right? And Lewis, what I'm hearing you say is like, you don't want to personalize the comments. And what helps you not personalize the comments is knowing where they're coming from, right? And that's what keeps you from taking it personal. No, I don't need
and
to
this
do
is
that.
more pungent and more striking with Shane because whatever we're experiencing, he's over how many subs you got now? I keep saying 100,000 and you said you're up to what?
250 over 250,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
John,
around
250?
250. It's
So
probably
you
just
could
under. Yeah,
I can just imagine the comments that you have to see,
yeah, yeah.
must be unbelievable,
Every few
because
years there's a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry.
Yep. No,
No, I
no,
hit the
keep going.
thing. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go.
every few years, what?
yeah. Every few years, a wave of new disgust with creators comes in, and then it disappears. It could be not
Oh
disclosing
man.
stuff. It could be the paid shill thing. It could be all this other stuff. You just see it come and go. And I've ridden out the YouTube. What was that ad apocalypse thing? And where like everybody's hyping up this stuff, and it all
Hmm.
ends up. It's just it's a crazy thing to be involved in. I was going to
Mm,
say too, like with people doing YouTube, you've got to, if you haven't already decided what your end goal is, and it's not a problem to dream big with it, but you've just got to try to work towards what it is that you want to, what the end goal to be, or at least understand it and accept it. If you want to do it full time because it will pay the
mm,
bills, you've got to be
right.
okay with that. And that used to be looked down upon many years ago, and now there's
Mm,
more creators on YouTube than ever, and everyone's fine with it now. So I've always had in
right.
the back
Yeah.
of my head, I felt a bit dirty trying to push online rather than doing gigs locally or going overseas and
Right.
doing
Yeah.
whatever. But
Right. Right.
you just got to just like maybe part of why you're not happy with the views always going up is maybe the end goal. It's not in trajectory with the end goal you've set for yourself or the ideal goal, and nothing ever
Mhm.
works out exactly as you plan. I should have had 750,000 subs by now if looking at the trajectory of other channels. But I tell you what, there's a lot of channels that have 1 million, 2 million subscribers in the exact same niche, and they got half the amount of views I've got. So
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
it
Right.
doesn't matter. My channel, it has a totality of views that, and this just comes from hard work and longevity that outperforms channels that are much bigger in terms of subs. And that's the way YouTube works now. I'm happy with that. I couldn't care less. People don't want to subscribe or they unsubscribe. And this is another conversation I had too. I had this chat with this million channel. I won't give who it is away, but I said every time I upload a video on my guitar channel, especially, I lose 2 subscribers instantly. He goes, dude, that happens to me all the time. So it might drop. It drops every time I upload. every time.
That's
If I
so
look at the
crazy.
analytics, it goes down 2, and then it goes up to like 17 over the course of a couple of
Oh
days.
my
Or if the
gosh.
video
Oh my
goes
gosh.
wild, I'll get 50 subs in a day. But every video, I could print out 1,000 videos that have had -2 subs as soon as they go live. And if
I
I
have a theory on that.
yeah,
What's your
Yeah,
theory?
it's that like there's some people who forgot that they were subscribed to you, and when they see your notification, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know I was
Oh,
subscribed to this person," and then they might unsubscribe because
Who is that?
they just
I don't
haven't
know who
seen it.
he is.
We don't worry
yeah.
about them because they're unsubscribed anyway, so we don't worry about
yeah.
The
them.
other thing that I thought it could be too, if people just don't, they're sick of seeing the same sort of stuff or the same person's head
Yeah.
pop up, is that
Yeah.
they click subscribe and they unsubscribe. I don't know if that's something that could potentially happen straight away, or they
I
didn't
mean, I
realize
know
they
that
were.
I've done that. I know that I've done that a couple of times, so that could be,
Yeah.
you
Wait,
know,
Yeah.
say that
I know that
again.
I've actually done that.
They hit subscribe and they
And they've
unsubscribe.
actually already they've been subscribed and then they
Yeah.
unsubscribe and then they go, oh no, and then they
Oh,
click it again.
okay.
So 2 people do
I
that,
think
or
they've
they don't
made
even
it
like.
harder for you to unsubscribe now. There's not like an
Mm.
unsubscribe button because somebody got me really pissed off and I'm getting rid of this channel. I couldn't
Yeah.
find the unsubscribe button. You actually have to go to their channel main page and then hit unsubscribe, where before
Mm.
you could just hit unsubscribe right there.
You can
it's
do
no
it
big
from the
deal.
feed. You can do it from the feed too. So if
Yeah.
you
See,
see a
I'm not
Yeah.
aware
thumbnail
of
you
that.
don't like, you can
Yep.
click the dots and just go hide from feed or unsubscribe or whatever the
Yeah.
options are now.
Okay,
So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
there
it's
is
a
an
whole.
easy way.
It's not as easy as it was though. You're absolutely right. They used to just go click and you were done, but you got
Yeah.
to drop
Shane, I got
down.
to ask you. I got to ask you before we finish up here,
Yeah.
because I live here in Los Angeles, and most of my friends are musicians.
Cool.
I'm wondering, have you ever played out here? Because you said you've played out here before in the States. Have you ever played out here in LA?
No, I played in San Francisco for I think 8 weeks at one point. I played in
Wow.
Chicago. I played
Okay.
in Austin, Texas, back in like 2010 or 8. And
Okay.
I've just done gigs with local bands and stuff. Nothing like high
Got
level
it.
or anything. But yeah, I
Okay.
love it. Blues is great because you know the formula, you can play. It's great.
Okay.
And that,
Yeah. It's a
for
kind
me, the
of
jamming and the
it,
improv thing is the way to go. Sorry, go ahead.
it's kind of like what I hear from my friends, because most of my friends are Latin jazz musicians, but a lot of them, right? So they're
Cool.
playing a lot of Abraham Laboriel, guitarists, bass players, a lot of those guys I've known. I've grown up loving music. I never picked it up myself, but I just grew up at a lot of jazz clubs, and here in LA. And so they've said the same thing. It's like, once you get kind of that groove, you can plug in anywhere. You can just kind of plug in anywhere, and it works,
Yeah,
so
yeah. That
but
blues is
that's,
just particularly easy for that whole thing to work.
is
That's
it?
why, like,
Okay.
yeah, once you know the 12-bar formula in particular, there's a few variations on it.
Okay.
You know the
Okay.
formula. It doesn't matter what the feel is or the lyrics or anything. It's like, what key are we in? All right, let's go. Same with certain jazz standard chord progressions as well. But the blues is really
Okay.
all about
It's real easy.
it's the 12-bar blues. That's what makes it. Once you know the 12-bar blues, you know the blues. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool
I
to
just
know.
want to say I've learned more in this session than I have in my community partner program. I've been connecting with my YouTube, whoever they are, the partner manager, whoever they are, and I've
I
been
don't know.
attending
I've
some,
got one of them.
and
What's
I've
a
been
partner manager? I don't have a partner manager.
No, me either.
whoever they are. I mean, mine's this person that reached out to me a month or so ago. They call themselves a community partner manager, and it's really cool because she's very much on top of me. She's like reaching out to me all the time. Look, maybe, here's something that you might want to try. I want to keep encouraging you. So they're obviously a community support manager, and so there is this hub, this YouTube, chat where they have sessions every day about something, and so they always want you to be involved in that. They're really, maybe this is something unique. I don't know, because I haven't been doing this very long, but what I have found though, as I'm learning in there, they have people maybe like even you come in, Shane, sometimes, you know, and talk about a specific thing about their successful channel. But they're, I have learned more though tonight than I think I have in all of my meetings with her
This is going to
and the
sound very
people.
negative, Carlos, but to me, it
Yeah.
sounds like you got yourself into an HOA and you need to get out.
An
Okay.
HOA.
An HOA makes your life miserable. They're always in your yard. They're always telling you what to
Oh,
do.
I love her. I
You,
love Haley. She's amazing.
uh,
She's
He
motivating me. It's
he
so
wasn't
good.
knocking anyone, Peter. He was just giving us a compliment. He was saying that
Yes.
he's learned more here than even focus groups that he's part of.
well, see, the way
Yes.
I
Exactly.
receive that is that as soon as you start to become successful, somebody says, I can make money on him. And they want to latch you into their cart, okay,
Mm.
so that they can make money on your back. And that's the way I see those kind of groups. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we want to manage
Mm-hmm.
you. No, we don't want to manage
Mm-hmm.
you. We want a percentage of what you're going to get. That's the way I see it. Maybe I have a negative
Yeah.
attitude, okay, and I'll admit
Yeah.
that when I'm wrong, I'm wrong,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But keep your hands out of my pocket. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That's the thing. That's where I think
This is
it's
from YouTube, right?
yeah, this is a mode. It's kind of the YouTube partner program. Okay. So
oh, it's inside of
there are
YouTube.
these, there are these community
Oh,
managers that they have, you know, who are creating these hubs, you know, so they basically, they grab a handful of creators
okay, that's different.
and they bring us together and they just want to keep us going. They just want to motivate us. So they're bringing in different people to talk to us. It just makes total sense. I mean, you see churches do the same thing. You know, they create
Mm-hmm.
support
Gotcha.
groups because they want to motivate you and keep you connected. That's what's happening here. And that's why
Okay.
it's so,
I took it wrong. I get letters all the
yeah.
time. We would like to manage you, Peter. You do
Oh,
fantastic.
no,
I'm not doing
no.
fantastic. What the hell do you want to manage? You know,
Mm.
it's
I should
I
also.
hear. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, Peter. I didn't realize it. I think I'm a bit laggy. I'm on Wi-Fi, so keep
Yeah.
going, mate.
No, I was on a rant, and you needed to shut me down. So go on with what you.
I was just going to say I'm not a shining example of following the predictable nature of YouTube either. Like I don't get a lot of views on every video. I don't
Yep.
clickbait my titles. I'm not always disappointed by the newest thing. If I did
Mhm.
videos like that, I would get way more views. But I decided I don't want to be a part of that thing, and that's helped me stay
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
on the most part for like since however long it's been. It's been over like 14, 15 years or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's so great, Shane.
And the only
That's
like
cool, man.
So
there's
great.
so many channels that come and go, right?
Yeah.
They're popular, and then where they go,
Right. Right.
Comes in
or they
waves, you know.
yeah. And I just do the stuff now that I enjoy,
Yeah.
or the stuff that interests me, or just I work with the companies in both channels that I enjoy. I do all the stuff. I'm not interested in that, and I'm happy with that. So you've got to come to terms with what YouTube requires for optimum views every video, and you've got to tailor your content towards it. And I don't want to do that. I just don't care about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, I could. It's a frustrating thing if you always want the next video to be bigger. You've got to follow the same game
Exactly
plan.
right.
People will
Yeah.
get sick of it. Or if
Well,
they've got
I've
a lot
tried
of
that.
input,
I've
yeah.
tried that. It
You
doesn't
guys-
work.
You guys
Yeah, but
remember? I mean, you know, Potato Jet. Potato Jet. He's
Yeah,
here.
yeah, he's
right?
right.
He
Yes.
lives. He lives just down the street from me. That's what he was doing early on in his videos. You remember this, where he was hyper complicating, right? I remember talking to him, and he was like, "Dude, I lost so much sleep with the early on in the videos I was creating. I was creating so much anxiety. It almost broke up my relationship."
Oh,
And what he found after doing it for a while, he's like, he started connecting, I think, more with that vision that you were talking about, Shane. Like, what do I really want this to look like? And what I'm doing right now is not ultimately it's not getting me there. And so he really kind of started simplifying, you know, a lot of his content, which he said was a huge turn for him. Right. And that makes a lot of sense, man. It's like,
He's one of the masters.
He is,
He
isn't
really
he?
is.
Isn't he amazing?
He's
It's amazing.
likable. He's informative. He's fun to
Yes.
watch and be around. He's showing you cool
Totally fun.
locations. Like
Yep.
this is the difference. If you're sitting in a studio all the time, like other channels that are in the same niche. No, not you, Peter. That wasn't a dig at you. But I don't want to hear the specs. I want to see what it looks like with someone using it. And he's
Yeah,
a great
yeah.
example of somebody he's ticked
Yeah.
all the boxes. You know, he's got the
Yeah.
trio. It's fun, it's entertaining, and informative.
Totally.
And you don't always have to have all three of those. You can have two of
Yeah.
those three, depending on your personality. But if someone's not getting anything out of it, they're not coming back. And if you've got low watch time, they're not coming back. And if you've never got
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
Carlos
and-
said. He does a good presentation. Potato Jet does a
Yep.
very good presentation. You know?
He
yeah,
does.
I've never
Gerald,
met that guy, but I'd
Gerald
love to.
Undone does a good presentation. Whether you like the guy or you don't, it just rolls. The information just rolls. The seriousness, he never gets jokey like I do and stuff like that. And when he tries to get jokey, he doesn't do a good job. You know,
I think he does.
You think
He's
so?
true.
Oh my God, he's so
Yeah,
corny
but I
when he
get his
starts a
quirky
joke.
comedy. That's
He
well,
is. He's very quirky. You're right. He's quirky.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
But if you
But-
know that about him, it's just that's who they are. So I guess I
Right.
enjoy that because I know that that's the aspects of their personality, the same way that I enjoy Tom Buck's, dad jokes.
Yeah.
Tom
That's
Buck,
right.
yeah, well, he's solid,
Yeah.
and consistent. But he does have a history that's built into him on planning, which I do the opposite. I'm like Shane was saying, I'm one and done, one take. And if it doesn't come out, do it again. And I've very, very rarely done that, And I think Shane even made a comment one time. He says, I'm going to try what you do, just do one take, And
I do that with topics I'm confident with, but then if I go blank or whatever, I'll just cut it.
No, I'm not
and
lobbying
start
for
again.
anything. I'm just saying each
Yeah, yeah.
person get their own style,
That's it.
Right.
I like to, the way I kind of formulate ideas when they're not written down is just to start, and then eventually the gears start turning, and then you get on a roll, and it's a lot easier. You got to just find the thing that works for you. Like reading a teleprompter is boring for you as a presenter, and it's also, it shows if you're not good at it. Like Gerald can read from a teleprompter, but I find Potato Jet's videos like infinitely more entertaining and real world use case for me. Like there's people that like high level spec videos, that's great, but there's no showcase of like, what it does in the field. Whereas other dudes are filming in all kinds of different situations. And as someone who likes to use gear, that's more important to me. And
That's what you do.
Potato Jet's got all the stuff. Like he's got it's fun, entertaining, and it's informative, and that's a hard trio to match, which is why his channel's just
that's right.
His subs went crazy, and he's not even uploading much anymore. He might have got to a point. I don't know the guy. I've never spoken to him, but he might have just said, "I'll do this now when I want to, and keep it fun." Yeah. Otherwise, it's a full-time job, and you'll be obsessing about it all the time, and you'll be looking at your phone, checking the studio app, and all that stuff. And you've just got to. I should take my own advice. I look at it way too much, and I'm like, oh, that did pretty good, but I got 3 other videos scheduled, so yeah. Once you can get to that point where it doesn't matter if it bombs, like my last few videos, it doesn't matter.
I try not to look at it at all.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. I really do. Because it's almost like I was saying before of not watching the I Quit videos. It's just, I know that there's nothing there that's going to benefit me, right? It's only going to lead towards the negative slope, which if that's there, then no. I do go into my YouTube studio for other things, but that section that would tell you the 1 to 10, I don't know if you can minimize it. So it shrinks and it doesn't tell you that information. And that's the way that I have it. So
I find that really helpful for a number of different reasons. One, if I've put 20 hours into something and it bombs, and if I've put 1 hour into something and it gets 20,000 views overnight, I'd like to know that. To me, that's important. Whether or not it means anything in the long term.
But this is the whole thing. I don't want it to lead to that demotivation, right?
It doesn't have to, though, right? They're both your videos. They're both your videos. So what
But
made
this
that
is
one
the whole
better?
thing. Like, okay, that's not up to me, right? You see, that's what I'm saying. It's like when they say, like, what you think about me is none of my business, right? What I get out of the videos is the creation process. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
if I see that the video that I'm having the most fun with, right, and it's taking me 20, 30 hours to edit, but I'm having a smile the entire time, gets no views, I still had the entire fun of that experience. So that's how I feel, instead of just almost like making a video with my iPhone that's more informative, and then that one blowing up and being thinking like, oh, all of the efforts that I actually have fun doing with are like futile.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
kind
that's
of why I try to stay away from that.
Yeah, I think that's the wrong outlook on the situation. One, because you've created both of those videos. And if you're ever in a pinch where you can't spend time putting 20, 30 hours into a video, you know you've got something that will work with a lot less effort. And it's still your video.
I
And it
agree
doesn't mean
with you.
it doesn't mean you have to make it, but knowing that is a good thing.
I agree with you, but my enjoyment is not the outcome. And that's the whole point. My enjoyment, whether it's the easy iPhone video or the one that I took 30 hours on, is in the process of the creation. And I notice the difference in both. So I try my best. And I say it, not that it's perfect, but I try my best to not let the analytics dictate how I'm going to create my next video. So that's
No,
just my
that's
outlook
totally
onto it.
fine. I was just saying it. They're both your videos, and knowing that
I agree with you. Like, yeah.
I see what you're saying, but I would. It depends. Again, like I said earlier, it depends what you want out of the channel. If you want to play the game, you got to hit all the markers. If your watch time's great, then you can go down the path of learning. I'm re-thumbnailing my guitar channel at the moment because I suck at it. I sucked at it for years. I'm good visually with a lot of things with like Photoshop style programs, and I'm like, I'm going to keep these looking. I'm going to make them look very different but simple. So I'm starting to go back through some of my back catalog.
Really?
And
That's interesting.
I'm constantly learning about stuff, but it's also for me that makes sense. You can get like so much more activity based on those impressions of what people see, even if they don't know your channel. There's another guy I've been listening to from San Francisco, I think he's from, or somewhere near there. I think his YouTube channel's name is Rock Wilk. He's a filmmaker guy.
I watch him.
And sometimes they're a bit like long and but it's like arty and relaxed, and I'm thinking
he never smiles though. You will never see a smile on that dude's face. He will never crack a smile. But it's really interesting.
So
what do
Louis,
you like about him? What do you like about him, Shane?
Just that like he's doing something unique and different in the space.
It is, yeah.
Not everyone else is doing.
What's his name?
ROCK. Wilk.
Mm-hmm.
Rock Wilk.
And look, go ahead.
Yeah, he's a theater guy. He's a theater guy. He's an actor, and he's a really different guy, right, Shane? He's a really different kind of dude.
Yeah. I think that channel will get a lot of stuff going on in the next 6 months. I just get this feeling like that kind of...
He's about to pop off?
Yeah, that sort of... Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, fitness channels where it's almost like they haven't... What's the word I want to say? It's really casual, but it's great. And he's got that. And that's what I think YouTube is looking more for these days than just all the same old stuff. It feels like, as a viewer, I'm enjoying
Something
that
different.
a lot more. Red Letter Media, where they're talking about movies, probably my favorite channel on YouTube. It's awesome, and it's just a bunch of guys having fun and enjoying talking about things that they love. And,
and his
that kind of
and Rock's videos, man. I mean, sometimes they're going for a while, and they're, but I dig on what he's doing too, though. I can see like the thing about it. He's, I think
I'm not saying he's perfect.
Totally. I think and I'm not gonna, because I mean I think he's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, totally.
What I'm really connecting with him though is I think he's expressing his ups and downs completely through his videos, right? He's expressing, man, I'm good, and then the next day he's like, this is shit, man. I mean, like he'll go, you know, and it's great because he's just letting it all out, dude. You know, right there. He's not
It's just
trying to
so
be somebody.
yeah.
He's
He's
not.
just being himself. At least
Yep.
to the impression I get, I don't get a sense of he's trying to be
No.
smarter than everybody.
No.
He's going through the same problems of
Yep.
wanting to upgrade when he doesn't need to, and
Yep.
but it's not done in a way that I hear anyone else talk about, and it's framed beautifully. He's got those anamorphic lenses, and he's just sitting out on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like again, while I sort of don't watch every video he posts or whatever, I found him early on. I was like, this guy's great. It's so different. I'm enjoying this.
Very
And
different.
I see it a lot where these sort of casual channels, like even Camera Conspiracies, right? He's quirky and fun and all that sort of stuff. But he had something going on that was different and maybe more globally sort of like appealing to the audience because it's so quirky.
Right.
But this guy's got something I think will work. It's just going to take time for him to sort of get enough stuff out there to be found.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Gene, if you guys Potato Jet, that's Gene Nagata. He really has a trifecta, like you said. It's like he's got it all. His personality is just so vibrant. You know, his intelligence factor is so high. I mean, he's out there comfortable. And the thing is, there's such a humility. He does not take himself seriously, which I think is really important, right? If we're going to do this, we just can't take ourselves very seriously. And
you feel like you're there. You know,
yeah,
like
you're right.
You got his friends. You're part of the crew kind of thing. It's infinitely more appealing for people watching.
And that's a talent. As a talent,
it doesn't
presentation. Back to what Carlos was saying. It's all about presentation. Is one of the key factors.
Yeah, the authenticity. He values authenticity, obviously, greater than other things. It's like because it comes across. It's just like Rock Wilk too. They're just genuine people, and I think if you look at a leader of a company or a person, a supervisor or a pastor or somebody like that, you can see why some of these churches blow up. It's because they're personality driven, right? There's this person that is driving. If that person isn't there, man,
I don't watch if that person isn't there.
And so I see that too here, but I go back to that sustainability. You've been doing this for a long time, Shane, and it's been sustainable. And I think that's where so many people fall off, like you said. I mean, in the short time I've done this, I've watched people who are newbies who've come on board around the time I did, and at least with this new channel, and they look like, oh my gosh, this is good. Like I can really see you doing something here. I'm really liking your content, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
And whoa, what happened? And so I think I'm making videos in between clients. So, I got a break. I get a couple of hours maybe in between clients, and I'll have something that I'm developing and I'll making. But, I don't have all the time in the world to be doing this. But when I do, I want to be present. Kind of going back to what you said, Lewis. I want to be present. I want to experience. I want to find fulfillment in it. But I am going to be, Shane, I really do feel like I'm on that side of, I'd like to see if is this trending at 2, 3, 4, or 5? Am I in there, man? Because if I'm starting out at like 8 or 9, I am going to kind of look at that a little bit and say, okay, what is there anything that I need to see in here?
Doing what you do, being that it's quite a bit different to what I do, do you start with the title, or do you just come up with a video idea?
No, I go with the video idea. So it's,
so
for instance,
the title's an afterthought kind of thing, is it?
It is.
I'm just asking questions.
That comes at the end, right? So I'm at the end. I'm thinking,
that's sort of like the wrong way of doing it if you want to get a lot of interest. So think about the title first.
You do the title first?
If I do a podcast video and it blows up, I've had some take off 50,000 views in, like, for me, that's a lot in a week, right? Or 25,000 views overnight. I'm not a viral channel, never have been. But if I've got a good topic and I look at the title and I think, this is what I want to talk about as well. It's not just, I've got the video idea maybe first sometimes, but other times I'm writing down ideas for discussion. I go, that's a great topic because everyone they'll want to put their input into it. I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of doing it maybe 2 out of every 10 videos or 2 out of 15 videos. I think about it that way. But any discussion video, I always think, I'll write them down ahead of time. Like, what are the things I want to talk about in this video? And then brainstorm, how can I make this title interesting without it being too long?
Okay.
And it's always like something that's half the title length in text, and it's the right thing, and it doesn't matter what the thumbnail is. So if the thumbnail is usually my head with no logo, just look, whatever.
Right.
I've used stills from the video recently, and those have performed better than all those kind of crazy thumbnails you see. So yeah, if you come up with a good title, it's enough. If the video is engaging and people are watching it, then it will go everywhere. It will just take off.
I can add to that. That doesn't mean you always have to work like that, Carlos. But that's something you can add into your bag of tricks.
Yeah, I don't do that every video. Like I said, it's only any discussion video. I always have a list of things. I don't just start and go, oh yeah, where are we going with this? It's like, this is this topic, and it will end in 9 minutes. Yeah, or whatever the time it takes.
This is not on topic. This is not on topic. But the other day, for someone that's not enthused about YouTube right now, I came up with a channel title. No videos, but in my head, it would be something like The Hard Questions. And because I'm very opinionated, in my regular videos, I try to come across as like what the Christmas Room presents, a nice, comfortable place where there's no pressure. But I have some opinions about other things where I would like to say them. And I have some things that go counter to what the mainstream stuff goes. Just like if Jesus said he was going to be dead for 3 days and 3 nights, okay, and that was what he kept saying, and he died on Friday and rose on Sunday morning, where's the 3 days and 3 nights? So that would be a topic for a channel like The Hard Questions. And same thing with Biden versus Trump. What would it matter in the big scheme of things and from God's eyes if Trump got elected versus if Biden got elected? Without getting political, but what would it really mean if, like, I'm a Bible follower, if Biden got elected, it would take a different road. And if you follow the patterns, does it mean we're getting to heaven sooner or later? Because there's something called the rapture. That's when we go up, to heaven for a 7-year period. All right. Now, you guys, this doesn't fit in for you because you're not my age. But at 71, I'm looking at death could happen at any time. Okay. Jordan Peterson, who just brought him up, he just did a video, if you're over 70 years old, count yourself lucky every single day because you've outlived X number of people. And I'm going like, oh, great. This is wonderful. I could wake up dead tomorrow morning, So the rapture is something I'm looking forward to. Now, if Biden got in, what does that mean in terms of that event happening versus if Trump got in? And the mainstream people, preachers, they're all for the wrong side. I'm opposite. Let's put it that way. That would be for that channel, The Hard Questions. So which one would it have been better for the rapture so that I don't die, so that I would go up? Okay, because the rapture could not happen for another 100 years. Guess what? I ain't going to make it. I'm going to have to die. And like I said, for you guys that are there, you're younger, you're not facing that. And I didn't either.
Man, you never know. You never know, man. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, I know that.
I had a friend die in primary school.
Yeah. I've got that, I have that knowledge, but I don't have the same number of years promised to me like you guys would. Okay. So I would want that event to happen faster. So they're going,
Mhm.
Biden is the way to make that happen faster because blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, no, it's the reverse. It's the reverse. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So,
So
are you saying that the idea of it would be to,
I want to address that issue that said, just
yeah.
tell them they're all wrong. I'm a little feisty in
Oh,
the last
sorry.
couple of
I thought
months.
you.
Okay.
I thought you were going to tie that into the new channel idea. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you said you
No,
were
the new
starting it
channel
with the
idea
titles.
would
Yeah.
be the hard questions. So
Gotcha.
that
I
would be
like
one
that.
of, I was giving
I
you
like that.
a suggestion for one of the hard
Yeah.
questions.
So the
Okay.
title of that video would be pretty simple, right? In my mind, it would be, not American, so I don't vote for either of them. But you could have, you could keep it simple: Trump versus Biden. What would change, or what, or just even something more aggressive on the end of that. You could,
I'm listening.
yeah,
Go.
the
Run.
final outcome, or the unspoken, or the untold truth. If you keep it ambiguous like that, you'll get everybody coming in. So, things like that would
Right.
be, you
But
could,
anyway,
come up with stuff.
everything I just said was with you started it, Shane, is that you come
Yeah.
up with the title first. Okay.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was getting
Okay.
Well,
at. You've got the idea
yeah.
there, but you structure the title and maybe even reference the
Right.
title in the
Yeah,
video.
I
so
was
it makes sense.
referencing the whole channel. I would like to address things,
Yeah.
that are just
That
hard
makes more
to
sense.
address.
So
That makes more sense. The way that, because a lot of what I pull into this is my spoken word, my poetry, my writing. So a lot of what I do with my videos is along the same line. I will process something, almost journaling out something that makes a lot of sense. For instance, when the video that I did early on that kind of got everything really rolling was the, what's at stake if you ignore your creativity. That was the title. Okay. And but what the title came after I wrestled and I personalized how I've neglected my creativity for so many years, and what was really at stake if I never reclaimed it, right? And so that led me to, at the end, thinking, okay, how do I sum this up in a title, and then I'm also hearing what you're saying as well, Shane, and I could see how that would work the other way really well, as well, like, forming that title. It's almost like sometimes I don't think there's real change in our life if there isn't a vision connected to it. I have to see something in order to get there. Otherwise, it's kind of like washing dirt floors. It
Visualizing.
just doesn't.
You have to visualize it, right?
Well, you really have to. It has to be a vision, something that you actually work out, and not just think about, but you actually create this vision and you commit to it. And then you ask yourself today, how am I closer to that vision today?
That's exactly
how
right.
am I moving? How am I moving closer to that?
For years, I used to do this. It was great. Yeah. I got this from maybe Brian Tracy or somebody who's like an efficiency expert, essentially, on YouTube. And it was like, write down the 3 most important things you can do today, and list them in order. Man, it changed my life doing that. I was like, this is the best thing ever. It's so good. And
yeah,
it's like going to the gym, right? Exactly what you were just saying. I trained, I haven't trained for quite a long time now because I tore a tendon in my forearm, but I was training 3 days a week, no questions about it. I didn't care where I was or whatever. I was going to the gym. I had a goal, fit by 40, right? So that was my ideal thing back before I turned 40. Now I'm on the other end of 45. But yeah, it was like,
I thought you were still in your 30s.
Thanks, mate.
Are you kidding me?
That's why I pay you the big bucks. It's
yeah.
Great. No,
How long since you've been here? You were in your 30s when you came here.
No, I was in my 40s. Yeah, I'm 45.
Wow.
Yeah, he just said he was 45. That wasn't 5 years ago.
No. So
yeah, that's true.
It's basically like going to the gym. You got to commit to it to get results, right? And all the times you skip it, you're doing yourself a disservice. I sort of treated YouTube a bit like that. Like if I'm not putting in the time, I'm not going to meet these milestones. And originally it was like, I'd like to get to, 10,000 views every 48 hours instead of 5. And how long did that take me? And if I got to that spot and I had it written down, I'd go, okay, now what do I want to do next? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking too far ahead sometimes. It's just about, if your goal is to grow, you've just got to have little milestones that keep pushing you forward. And then you can assess the results and whether or not you feel like you're in the same place as you were, or whether the time's worth it. Or
Can't read that.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could get the angle. This is a post-it note that says volume negates luck, because it's exactly what Shane is saying. If you just keep at it, no matter what.
Well,
you're gonna
Randy's a
get it.
perfect example of that. He's almost at 3,000 videos. He thinks of a
Randy's a
video.
machine.
He makes a video out of nothing. It's amazing, And
But, obviously-
Randy is one of our family members, Shane, so in case you're wondering.
No, I know his channel. I comment on there from time to time. But yeah, it's obviously a different approach if you're just putting content out there as opposed to having definitive ideas on. Like, he might be doing it more for fun than he might be thinking, I want to make 10 grand in 2 years from now, or whatever.
Yeah, no,
right?
he doesn't make. I think it's therapy for him. He just enjoys doing it.
Yeah, and that's right, and I still enjoy doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I'm stubborn enough with my beliefs that I'd be like, you know what? Once I've had enough, I'll quit the big channel. I've said that so many times, where if it ever feels like a chore for a long period of time, I'm done.
Okay.
And I'm already thinking outside of the guitar channel now. I've had so many ideas. I'm like, I got to make these things happen sooner than later. And I keep telling Rihanna, and she goes, do it. So the other day, I filmed 2 videos in a completely different niche, never released them, just to see how it felt. And it
that's
felt
so
great.
cool. That is so cool.
It felt great.
Wow.
And I used a webcam. I didn't use any fancy camera stuff. I thought, who cares? Let's see if I can make this engaging using a good mic, a crappy camera, and just do something that interests me. And I felt so free of all this stuff you accumulate. And, maybe because I moved house, I realized how much stuff I had, and junk. I was like, you know what? I already started selling stuff, but I'm going to sell more stuff next week, because I'm like, I'm already starting to think I don't want to focus on material things forever. And the things that are helpful for people, I get more enjoyment out of. Or if it's, somewhat interesting for somebody in a discussion point of view, that's the kind of stuff that makes me feel good. It's the stuff doesn't make me feel as good. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to appreciate different things, obviously, as you do when you grow up a bit, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know how old when I grow up properly, but
reports.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I love playing guitar, I love using tech, I love all that sort of stuff, but I love traveling more. I'd rather see a beautiful sunset or whatever. It's sort of like the priorities have changed, and I'm starting to think, I'm going to make maybe an effort at something new, and if it fails, it fails. I don't care. It's just going to be something completely unrelated that I can do when I'm not interested in doing the other stuff. It'll be fun.
Right.
And that's a big, important thing for me. The reason I started the tech channel was I failed at it before. I tried it years ago, and it wasn't good. So I deleted maybe 30, 40 videos. I just went, I'm done. I pulled it down.
I never knew. Wow.
Yeah. It used to be called HD Audio Video or something. It had some weird name.
Okay.
It was just a horrible idea. And I thought, no, I need something else in my life other than just guitar stuff. Like, it's fun, but I'm not getting. I want to be able to sort of pick and choose a little more, and I think the 3 option for me will be the ideal thing. It'll be, I want a low production, like, not low production, just less production. I'll probably film it with a good camera, but I don't want it to look like it's a studio anymore. I'm just done with it. I want to just have a casual channel that's completely casual, but has a point behind it, and I can express ideas and stuff, and people can give me feedback on things and interact in a different way rather than just talking about things.
Right.
That point's getting closer and closer every day for me, and I can't just I don't just want to stop making videos cold turkey or anything right now, but if I ever hate it, I'm done. And I knew that years ago. It's like with doing a job
Yeah.
you can't stand.
Well, that's
Why would
why
I do it?
we're not working at Starbucks and Burger
Totally.
King.
Yeah, that's
We are
me.
working for ourselves. You
Yeah.
stop in January, okay? I
And that helps so
stopped.
much.
Yeah, I stopped in January also, but I just haven't started up again.
Mhm.
I'm getting the
Mhm.
inkling to start back up. Okay, I'm
I
not
hope
quite sure.
after tonight's conversation you are, Peter. A little bit.
No, I'm gonna go take a nap until the feeling passes.
Because
But
I'm
I
feeling more inspired and motivated right now having this conversation. I really am. Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay.
Well,
I don't.
it's like
If we zoom out, okay,
yeah.
to 10 millimeters,
Yeah.
YouTube exists basically as a global network where they could sell advertisements. That's the definition of YouTube. They
Mm.
have no programming. They have no I Love Lucy shows, The Lost in Space. They don't have the Jetsons. They don't have Murder She Wrote. They have Shane. They have Carlos. They have Lewis. That's who provides the programming. Okay. Now, we have entered into it and we've created our own world. Oh, what videos am I going to make? How do I make them? What do I say? Do I put all these little cutesy things in there? Do I make a thumbnail? Because I want to be successful too. But as crude as it sounds, YouTube doesn't give a crap. They want and need to sell advertisements for their company to succeed in bringing in money. We are the content. Okay. Now, that premise is part of the reason that I got a little disheartened. It feels
Mm.
like I'm being used so much.
Mm.
And then they come in on top of
Mm.
using me, okay, and abuse me. So I'm being used and abused, okay? And that got under my skin for a while, and I'm just sharing it with us. I'm not going to go out and make a video on that, okay? And
Well, a lot
that
of other
made
people are. A lot of other people are though. A lot of people are making videos about that.
I haven't seen any, thank
You know?
God.
Oh
Okay.
my God, they're all over the place. They're everywhere. But yeah,
Hey,
you don't. Not saying you need to.
Yeah. So
that to me says that you're obviously unhappy with how things are going on there, right? But
yes, I'm
you know,
unhappy with how
you do
things
the
are going.
same, you do the same thing. Not you. I'm just saying generally, when people do the same thing, get the same result, and are dissatisfied. What does that tell you?
It's a trend.
No, it's
If you
time to try
flip it,
something else.
if I did right, okay.
Yeah, if you
Now,
want to.
if I
Yeah.
did it, and I was very successful at it, whatever way you want to determine success,
Mm-hmm.
I would say you got to start with money. You got to start with critiquing and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't feel the same, but getting used and abused and not making forward motion, I get the feeling of what am I doing? You know, and I think I
That's
came to the conclusion you came to, Shane. Maybe I need to do something else, you know?
Right. Right.
or
And
you
Uh,
is
just need to
the use
find another angle that you're interested in, or try a
right.
different formula. Like
Right.
some of your best videos to me are the ones where you used to compare cameras, used to compare autofocus. You did how to turn on anamorphic mode on the GH5 back before anyone else knew it was even there, like the open gate mode, essentially 5K. Like these are things that are.
do you
That's
want to know
how I
what my
found you.
best trending video right now is, even though I haven't made a video in months?
Yeah.
Where is the USB port on the FX30? People don't know how to open that stupid door because there's
Yeah, yeah.
nothing there that that indicates to open the door. That
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
my most watched video right now, and I'm thinking,
Right.
how stupid is that? You know, but I do like to help people, so that I get a kick out of it. It's not a negative thing. Okay.
That's my exact thing, right? It's helpful, and you're great at making helpful content. Now you got to decide, like, not right now, but if you decide that you enjoy those kind of videos, then try that for a while instead of posting something that you're not getting results from. If you want more traction, you've got to play
Right.
some game, right? For me to say, oh, I just make whatever I like, is true to some extent, but I also
Yeah.
have to think about, like, all right, it's time I get some traction back. Let's do some discussions. What are the interesting things I can talk about that still appeal to me? Then
I
I
have
can
a
trend
channel
up.
that's growing mini wildly. I was going to say wildly, but that's not accurate. And that's the food channel. I haven't
Yeah,
made
cool.
anything there in over a year. And
Yep.
it's gone from 5,000 to over 6,000 subscribers. It makes 3 times as much money as my big camera channel. And I don't even give it the time of day. And I enjoy cooking. I like eating. So cooking goes with that, you know.
Let me tell you why. This answers the exact thing I said before. Why is that channel doing that?
Well, my maybe my ignorant answer is because my stuff is evergreen on there. Cooking a
Yeah,
turkey
and
is the
why?
same
Why?
now
Why is it evergreen?
because it doesn't get old.
Yes,
What?
and
Don't trick me. Tell me the answer.
it's helpful, and that's what that's exactly why my evergreen videos do well every day, because it's helpful and it's honest and it shows people how to do things. And
What is
that's
the
that's exactly that's exactly what I was trying to say before, without being. I hope you don't take that the wrong way, Pete. But I think your strength
no?
is how you explain things to people and when it's helpful. I love it.
I'm here to I went down this road to take it in from the
Yeah.
masters.
So
That's what we got tonight. Okay.
while you make
So
lots of great stuff, your evergreen content is that's a great example of it. How to, like, I got tutorial videos on my tech channel, how to get through the menu. Where is this? Where's that? People just instantly find the timestamp. It's like awesome for them, and that will continue to do that forever. 10 years, and it'll have however many views it has.
yeah.
So helpful content is the stuff that will, or discuss, or topical will get the immediate views, but helpful content will get the long-term views. My biggest video on my tech channel has a lot of views now. I think it's somewhere around 400,000-500,000 views, which is pretty good
Wow.
for a channel my size. And that's how to connect a MacBook to an external monitor. It's
See?
4 minutes. It breaks all the rules of how I'm going to
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes talking about stuff that doesn't
Yeah.
interest people.
Yeah.
I got straight to the point. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is
Right.
awesome! It's so refreshing." You showed me in the only amount of time it needed. It's like, if you're doing tutorials, get to the point. If you're doing, helpful videos, it needs to be on topic and without all the. It's not what I think. A lot of people were taught to make videos over. What's that noise?
That's Aiden playing with
Is
his
that
tablet
Aiden?
on the
Yeah.
floor.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's okay. That's all
Sorry,
right. I
guys.
wasn't sure. It sounded like a radio was on or something. I was like, "Is
Yeah,
that
he's
me?"
got a little tablet.
He's DJing. He's got the whole party going on back here. It's
Yeah.
just I'm used to it.
He's right at his feet. He has to be there because his life depends on it. So
I guarantee, Peter, if you make a helpful video on one particular topic that a lot of people want to know about, and you keep it on point, and you make it fun and animated or whatever while you're doing it, but keep it focused, those videos do great. That's that's my unprofessional opinion.
Yeah, I
but
would
you're the most
agree.
professional here.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with Shane, and I also see a lot of creators who are older creators, senior creators, and I'm talking about creators that are even like how many. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of these guys, but these guys, who are plugging in, they're creating an amazing channel with, 60 and over creators, 70 and over creators, 80 and over creators. I listened to a guy the other day say he's 80 years old, and he said, "Here's my 20-year plan."
Yeah, well,
and people, and these people have massive subs because they're nailing their niche. I mean, all of these seniors are watching this channel, and they're getting hope. Obviously, they're feeling hope because this person is doing it. They're doing it. And I cannot believe how many senior channels like that I see blowing up. And
you're 100%. Yeah.
65 and up. This gal that I've been watching, creativity after 65, and like, wow, everybody's just so. It's just such an awesome niche I see happening, and I think this is what a lot of older people need to be thinking about if they're going to be on YouTube, because there's such a market out there. Because what happens as we get older, our stages of development have a big play in this, and we typically fall into more isolation. We typically, after retirement, things like that start happening. We can easily start to even fall into some depression and sadness, the older we get. And the people that I see who are refusing that are these older creators. An 80-year-old creator who's going, Like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to live the rest of my life, you know, as a typical 80-year-old. No. I'm going to find joy and happiness. And I was listening to this guy. I was on his live stream the other day, 80 years old and just killing it because he's got so much energy from what he's creating. There's so much energy. And I think what I'm getting out of it, though, is I'm being encouraged. I'm feeling inspired. I'm, and he's not, really talking to me per se, although there are a number of people I think that are my age watching him. But most of the time, there are people who are feeling really encouraged and supported by him because they're around his age or they're up there, right? What I think I'm saying is, Peter, I think you have, because of the stages of development I was saying, I have more, all of us in this group have more, we have more clout with the gray hair that we have on our face or on our head. And it goes somewhere. Use it. Use the gray hair. People will gravitate towards wise words, and it's insight and encouragement coming from someone like you, And I think that kind of goes with Shane, with what Shane is saying. I'd like to do some younger stuff, but that's not where I'm at. I think I'm at a place where I really want to click with a certain kind of people, a certain demographic. And so I'm going to act more appropriate there. I'm not going to try to be something that I'm not, to try to cater to a certain group. Sometimes I'll see the people who are watching me, and I'm like, man, I really wish I could get those younger people, but that's not what I'm creating, And so, I mean, I've gotten a little bit more of it because some of my videos are in between 5 and 6 minutes. And so more of them are watching it because they're shorter. Right. But most of it,
I think we're trending more towards shorter videos, honestly.
I think so.
You've got TikTok out there and Instagram, and
I just want to affirm, though, what Shane is saying too, because I see that in you as well, Peter. Like that. I do. I really enjoy watching your kitchen videos a lot. Your personality, the fun you're having in there. I connect with that a lot.
And that's fun, helpful, and it's entertaining, informative, whatever I said before.
Right.
That's the trio. Like, if you find a good combination of that and it suits and you love doing it, it shows. It's really
shows.
It's a tough gig. I got to get out of here in a sec, guys, but
I was just going to ask, do we keep going or do we wind it down?
No, I mean, you guys can keep going. I've just got to get going.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me close it with the stupid statement of the night.
Well, can we let can we let Shane finish what he was going to say, though? I think you were going to finish something, Shane. Were you going to say something?
Did I cut you off, Shane?
Yeah. I wasn't critiquing content or anything like that either, Peter. I've supported your stuff for years, so I'll watch it no matter what, right? So I'm just thinking, if you're dissatisfied, you need to think about trying something completely different in a way that works with your personality. And look at what makes the evergreen content work well on that channel and translate it over to this channel. Because to me, as an outsider, I always think the helpful content will do well. And if it's about a particular thing, just do it from the moment the video goes up. Like, as soon as someone clicks on it, they know they're in the right place. And you'll see a completely different result.
What I'm taking away from all this tonight, targeted towards me, and if it applies to Lewis or Carlos, you could take it too. It's no extra charge. Is a good place for me to start is to focus on doing something that's helpful. And I actually proved this point at the beginning of this whole show when I was trying to show Carlos something about this printographer, whatever it is, where he was doing something that was helping and making people's lives better. And I was trying to share the point that clicked with me. And you guys have basically summed that up. Yeah, you summed it up.
Totally. And Peter, I would imagine, one of the things, I'm probably going ahead of myself here, but if you did that, like, I think sometimes we forget, especially with the amount of subscribers you have on that kitchen channel, how much influence you have at moving people a certain direction. I create a lot of worksheets for my clients. Okay, in between sessions, I create a lot of worksheets. So what I decided to start doing is, and I'm doing this more now, is create a worksheet for every video that I create. And so what I say on that, I don't put the link to that worksheet in my description. I decided I would test this out. I tell people in the video, to go to my website and download that worksheet to take this video deeper. You know, if you really want to connect with us at a deeper level, you're going to go and download the worksheet that accompanies it. It's like I'm thinking about a recipe. No, it's not a lot of work. I've streamlined it. I create worksheets all day for all my clients. It's easy. I have a lot of these things already put together. All I got to do is change a little something in it, right? So it doesn't take long at all. But I'm thinking about, you know, you moving somebody towards, hey, go to my website and download this recipe that I have right here. You know, move them towards.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Yeah, it would be super simple, but I just think you're a helper in general, right? I think we all can affirm that in Peter, right? He's just a helper. That's in your DNA, you know, and I think really focusing on that. I mean, I'm a recovering codependent, which is why I do what I do. You know, I just really, really like to help people, and it's uncomfortable for me when people aren't well. So I try really hard to help them.
Yeah,
it gets kind of sick sometimes, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to shut up. You can finish things off, you guys.
I'm helping Lewis go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I need to eat something, guys. That's where it's at.
You.
Like
my
oxygen levels are getting low.
I love you, Lewis.
Super fun though. Super
just
fun.
Take it with a grain of salt too. So
the dumb quote or the dumb point for tonight is it took me all night long to realize I needed to shift from my left elbow to my right elbow. Told you it was dumb, but it feels so uncomfortable. I got nothing to do with this hand, but on the screen, this is the way it should be. You know, Shane looks so comfortable. Look at him. I mean, I got
my leg up on a chair at the moment.
He's got his leg up on the chair, and I'm over here, and I'm facing out into the wild blue yonder, and I finally turned around and go like, oh, I should be facing this way, you know. So that's the dumb point of the night. Somebody had to do it, so I did that for everybody. Lewis, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Shane, you coming in is a big deal because this is the big meat of your day. I mean, this is it, you know.
I've been wanting to do it for a while, but this time on the weekend for me sometimes pretty tough. But I got a couple of hours.
Yeah,
to myself,
that's why
I do have to.
Sending a big thank you. And Carlos,
I moved as well. I moved house, so it took a few weeks to get settled. So sorry.
So you're in the new house, but you're not at the new house right now.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Carlos. You know, I love you and everything that goes with it. Did you ever look up that scripture?
Love you too, man. Love you. Yeah, I did. Right after, and I agree. I agree.
Okay, the big word in that one is himself. The word himself.
Oh, okay.
So reread it again and look at the word himself. Okay, it's very targeted. All right, guys.
Hey, thank you, guys. Super awesome. Super fun with you guys tonight.
How do you say thank you to a group of guys like this? It's just all you got to do is.
I mean, this was a jam session. That's what this was. It was a jam session.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, nice chatting with you guys.
All right. So everybody just stay put and I'll just sign out and then we can all disappear. You guys, God willing, and the bridge isn't up. See you next Friday. From all of us, good night.